supporters who are suddenly having a very happy new year. Liverpool, who've been in front, dragged back to 1-1. Lovren did such good work there to win the header in a busy penalty area. It was floated in by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Lovren nodded it across the face of goal, and you've got to credit Clavan. He wanted that desperately. He threw himself at it. He bundled it into the back of the net. Surely Burnley aren't going to come back again. Burnley 1, Liverpool 2. Brilliant finish to the game.
Leicester 3, Huddersfield 0 is a full-time score in the Premier League. Still playing at the Bet365. Pat Murphy.
Still 1-0 Newcastle. Jack Butland just in his own half, hoofing the ball up front. Just now Newcastle could have made it safe. Isaac Hayden on the substitute made a hash of it. Cutely set up by Dwight Gale on the counter-attack. Obviously Stoke are ripe for plucking in that direction, and he fluffed his chance. That would have been great balm and succour to the Newcastle United fans just in front of them, but he wasted that chance there. It's still Stoke. They're pouring forward now. The ball is 30 yards from Carl Darlow's goal, and that's a wasted effort from Jeff Cameron. You can hear what the Stoke fans think about that. I've seen a couple of banners saying Hughes out. Haven't seen any saying Hughes in. But it's an absolutely ferocious winter's afternoon now here in the Potteries. It may well be a metaphor, this driving rain and Heathcliffian weather. It's a Wuthering Heights day. It could be an apt metaphor for Mark Hughes' reign here after 4 seasons at Stoke. It's still Stoke 0, Newcastle 1.
Thanks, Pat. Well, Paul Lambert.
And
there we go, yeah, back to Pat.
The final whistle. Boos ring around the Bet365 stadium. The 2,000 Newcastle fans absolutely ecstatic. Some of them bare-chested and shirt-sleeved. The barcode out in force. Well played, the Newcastle fans. I think Newcastle just about deserved it. They showed greater composure at key moments. Splendid breakaway goal by Perez, 20 minutes from time. 2 magnificent saves from Darlow. And by the way, there's Benitez going up, exchanging warm words with Charlie Adam. Adam couldn't have done anything more than that. And Mark Hughes makes that lonely walk down the tunnel. It's a long way, as Paul Lambert will tell you, a long way from that dugout down there to the tunnel. You get all sorts of abuse, and it's come from the Newcastle fans in front of Mark Hughes. He's in trouble now. He must be. It's Stoke 0, Newcastle 1.
Yeah, we're seeing the banners come out now, aren't we? Paul Lambert, Hughes out, a smaller one, and then there's a chap there in a black hoodie and a black cap. He's holding, well, a 6-foot banner, Hughes out, which has clearly been pre-prepared and brought in with him. Do you get the feeling this is it now for Mark Hughes?
Listen, I've been there. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. And when you have a long walk like that walk seems like an eternity. And Mark will be feeling it, regardless if he's played at Bayern Munich or Manchester United. Everybody's human, and when you have that lonely walk and the fans are shouting at you to go, it's no nice for anybody. And as I said before, the chairman is either going to stick with it or he's going to make the decision.
And Pat Murphy, the flip side to this story, we're seeing that in Rafa We Trust scarf again. The Geordies going absolutely bananas.
Well, they love Rafa Benitez anyway. Their fans are fantastic. They play in front of 50,000 plus at home. And Benitez is very, very good with the crowd. He's their star, isn't he? Forget any other player on their payroll. Benitez is the man who keep them up. Benitez got them up last year. He's a terrific manager. This is a Champions League winner, for heaven's sake. That's why the Geordie fans love him so much, because he's batting below, if you like, his appropriate batting average. He's that good. He should be at a bigger club than Newcastle United, although Newcastle's potential is fantastic, of course it is. I think any fair-minded football fan will hope that the takeover goes ahead and Benitez will get what he deserves, because apart from 1 or 2 coded messages, he's kept his head down and he's orchestrated a very, very important victory here. And he's a classic example of somebody respecting the fans, as he did at Liverpool. And the Liverpool fans love him as well. And you can hear the Newcastle fans. It's a long way back from the Potteries up to the northeast on a night like this. I'm delighted for them as an objective football reporter. They are proper football fans.
So it's finished Stoke 0, Newcastle 1 at the Bet365. Stoke fans, what do you make of that? Get in touch with us. We want to hear from you during Sports Report as we build up to our commentary of Everton, Manchester United, which kicks off at 5:30. We're going to have a mini 606 for you with Jason and Mark Lawrenson half-time at Goodison Park before we hand over fully to 606. Get your calls in 08085 909 693. 08085 909 693. If you're making your way back from the Bet365, if you've been listening to us at home, we want to hear from you. 85058 to text us. 85058 at 5Live Sport on social media. And equally, if you're a Newcastle fan, if you're travelling back, what a result that is for you and Rafa Benitez. There was a huge finish at Turf Moor. What a game and what a result that has turned out to be for Liverpool, Conor McNamara.
That's a huge result, and I think at the end of the season, if Liverpool do finish in the top four, they will look back at this game as being a very pivotal moment. You know, I was here a few weeks ago when Burnley lost to Arsenal a last-minute controversial penalty, and it had that feel about it here. It was 1-1 in the 87th minute when Birgit Munson, diving header, seemed to have secured a point for Burnley, but then the board went up to indicate 4 minutes of stoppage time, and it was in the 4th minute that Clavan bundled the ball into the back of the net. It was a free kick 15 yards or so outside the penalty area. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain dinked it in. Lovren did really well to win the header. Now here's where the bit of controversy is. Lovren's onside, but as he heads at a cross goal, is Clavan onside? I've still not seen a comprehensive replay that suggests it either way, but the Burnley supporters around us were absolutely furious, incensed, convinced that goal should not have been allowed to stand due to Clavan's position. As we said, we're going to have to wait till we analyse the television replays, but the goal has stood for Ragnar Clavan. It's his first ever goal in the Premier League. Sensational scenes in which he claimed it, and a very valuable win for Liverpool, who, remember, made 7 changes from the league win against Leicester, and now Jurgen Klopp will have fit players available for the FA Cup against Everton on Friday night. Burnley 1, Liverpool 2.
There's a mini sports report to come here on 5 Live, and Juliette Farrington's going to go and pop off and speak to David Wagner and of course Claude Puel. Before she does that, the full time at the King Power, Jules.
Yeah, I'm going to try, because it finished 3-0 here for Leicester. It was really comfortable as well. It was a horrific, turgid, boring first half, much brighter in the second. Mahrez, Slimani and Albrighton right at the very end with the goals that Claude Puel said before this game was crucial to win. It ends that poor run they were on as well, and Mahrez getting a standing ovation as he came off in those late stages. But the biggest noise and the biggest surprise today was Adrian Silva, given special dispensation to play by the Premier League after the storm of the last transfer window. He's been here all that time but hasn't been allowed to play. There were ways and there were chants every time he touched the ball. He came on for the final few minutes of this one, the record signing substitute even. I can't speak. First half was an absolute write-off. Superb second half. Leicester beat Huddersfield 3-0.
Love it, Jules. Let's speak to Paul Lambert and to Danny Webber in the studio with us here, building up to Everton, Manchester United, a 5:30 kickoff commentary on the way on 5Live Sport, and we can breathe a little bit, Paul. But what a win for Newcastle. What a win for Liverpool as well. I mean, for Jurgen Klopp to make all those changes and to leave Turf Moor with all the points.
I think it's huge for him. When you make that many changes, I think you take the risk of it, of the supporters and losing some points, but that's what managers do. They make big calls, and he's got away with that one, which is great for himself. So it's a big call when you make that many, but I understand, because you have so many games in the festive period.
For me, I think, you say managers make big calls, and he'd have been cursing himself when they went 1-1 and sat there thinking, did a lot of questions going through his mind. Should he have done that? But 2 centre-halves pop up with the assist and the goal, and you walk away delighted.
So it's finished all square at Pride Park. Vicky Sparks is there for us. Derby, Sheffield United.
Yeah, it's finished 1-1. A very well-deserved point for Sheffield United, thanks to Leon Clark's second half header. Close range, totally unmarked. Shocking defending by Derby, who'd taken the lead through Matty Vidra's first half penalty after Baldock was adjudged to have handled. Disappointing for Derby, who really weren't at their best today, although they are now 7 games unbeaten. They stay second, 9 points behind leaders Wolves, who play tomorrow. Sheffield United remains 6th. Full-time Derby 1, Sheffield United 1.
Oh, important win for Ian Holloway at Loftus Road. QPR beating Cardiff. Sahel Sahi.
A very important win. Will, full-time QPR 2, Cardiff 1. QPR won at home for the first time in 2 months and inflicted a 4th consecutive defeat on Cardiff. Cardiff led from a Joe Rolls penalty after 54 minutes. QPR equalised 8 minutes later through Matt Smith, and then a scorching run by Paul Smith into the area and an emphatic finish sealed the 3 points. QPR 2, Cardiff 1.
All over at Ellen Road, Leeds, Nottingham Forest. Mike Sewell.
Leeds 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Gary Brazil's Team GB getting a hard-earned point after Leeds threatened to win this game on several occasions. Janssen had a header saved on the line, Roof hit the crossbar, and Jordan Smith made another save late on from Pablo Hernandez. Leeds 0, Forest 0.
So there's live football every day between now and January the 11th on 5 Live Sport. The Premier League, the FA Cup, which starts on Friday night with the Merseyside derby, and the League Cup semi-finals, including Manchester City and Bristol City. And still to come at 5:30 today, commentary of Everton against Manchester United from Goodison, which follows Sports Report, which is next.
New drama from the creator of Luther.
How far would you go to protect the things that you love? Your friends, your family.
Where's Simone? Where's Hayley?
They're safe.
Your job.
PCI Hicks, Elena's joining us as your new DI. Who's the mayor?
And you.
If you do what they want, we're dead.
You know who we are. Is it true?
Yes.
How long does it say we got?
5 years. Everything that matters. 5 years and it's gone.
The engine's flooding.
Keep trying.
Help me.
I mean, all you want to do is protect the people that you love, knowing that no one can. Ever.
Hard Sun begins this Saturday night at 9:35 on BBC One.
Good afternoon from Will Perry in Manchester. This is BBC Radio 5 Live at 5 o'clock, and this is Sports Report. The headlines tonight: Iosi Perez scores a massive goal for Newcastle at the bottom of the table that could spell the end for Mark Hughes.
Lovely ball in, and Newcastle lead. Perez has put the Magpies in front.
It finishes Newcastle 1, Stoke 0. Elsewhere, Ragnar Klavan grabs a late winner for Liverpool as they beat Burnley 2-1. Leicester ease past Huddersfield by 3-0, and Brighton-Bournemouth finishes 2-2 after a crazy goal-mouth scramble gives the visitors a point. Commentary of Everton against Manchester United to come. Here's Alan Green.
Multiple changes, 7 of them for Everton, for whom Rooney starts, 3 for United, Young suspended, Lukaku injured. Mourinho's team winless in the last 4, 3 successive league draws. Surely they can't afford another.
In the Championship, second place Derby are held by Sheffield United. QPR come from a goal down to beat fourth place Cardiff. In League One, there's wins for leaders Wigan and second place Shrewsbury. The game of the day was the top of League Two as leaders Luton came from behind to beat third place Lincoln 4-2. Both teams finished with 10 men, and Wickham beat Forest Green Rovers, who have a father and son sent off. Away from the football, Yanworth wins the big race at Cheltenham. Joe Conter starts the year off with a win in Australia, and Ben Stokes has been given permission by the ECB to play in the Indian Premier League. Coming up, we'll hear from a defeated Mark Hughes, Rafa Benitez and Jurgen Klopp. First, the classified football results with Kevin House.
And we begin with the Premier League. Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Bournemouth 2, Burnley 1, Liverpool 2, Everton against Manchester United, late kick-off. Leicester City 3, Huddersfield Town 0, Stoke City 0, Newcastle United 1. Sky Bet Championship, Aston Villa against Bristol City, late kick-off. Bolton Wanderers 1, Hull City 0. Derby County 1, Sheffield United 1. Leeds United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Norwich City 2, Millwall 1. Preston North End 2, Middlesbrough 3. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Cardiff City 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burton Albion 3. Sunderland 0, Barnsley 1. League One, AFC Wimbledon 2, Southend United 0. Bristol Rovers 2, Portsmouth 1. Charlton Athletic 1, Gillingham 2. Fleetwood Town 1, Bradford City 2. Northampton Town 0, Wigan Athletic 1. Oxford United 3, Milton Keynes Dons 1. Peterborough United 1, Doncaster Rovers 1. Plymouth Argyle 1, Walsall 0. Rochdale 1, Blackpool 2. Rotherham United 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. Scunthorpe United 1, Bury 0. Shrewsbury Town 1, Oldham Athletic 0. League 2. Accrington Stanley versus Morecambe was abandoned at half-time because the pitch was waterlogged. Accrington were leading 1-0. Barnet 1, Swindon Town 2. Colchester United 0, Cambridge United 0. Coventry City 1, Chesterfield 0. Crewe Alexandra 2, Grimsby Town 0. Forest Green Rovers 1, Wycombe Wanderers 2. Luton Town 4, Lincoln City 2. Mansfield Town 3, Carlisle United 1. Newport County 2, Exeter City 1. Notts County 1, Port Vale 0. Stevenage 4, Cheltenham Town 1. The result between Yeovil Town and Crawley Town not yet in. Vanarama National League. AFC filed 5, Tranmere Rovers 2. Bromley against Ebbsfleet United, late kick-off. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Leyton Orient 0. FC Halifax Town 1, Macclesfield Town 4. Guiseley 1, Chester 1. Hartlepool United 2, Gateshead 2. Maidstone United 2, Dover Athletic 2. Solihull Moors 3, Maidenhead United 1. Sutton United 1, Boreham Wood 1. Torquay United versus Eastleigh, postponed. Woking 1, Aldershot Town 2. Wrexham 3, Barrow 3. And finally, the JD Welsh Premier League. Aberystwyth Town 1, Carmarthen Town 2.
So 6 minutes past 5 on Sports Report here on 5 Live. Champions League winner and former Aston Villa and Norwich manager Paul Lambert in the studio with us, as is former Watford and Sheffield United striker Danny Webber. We're going to discuss first Stoke 0, Newcastle 1. And we were talking about Mark Hughes and looking so dejected, Paul Lambert, as he walked down the tunnel. And I guess it's moments like that where the fans do forget all the good times and all the good things that Mark Hughes has done, because there has been plenty of good times at the Bet365 for him.
Absolutely, but I think football's the here and now. That's the way football works. You can't live in the past with it. You've got to look to the future. And they'll just see their club near the bottom of the table and not getting results. And it's up to them to vent their anger or support the team. But Mark's just going to have to ride the storm, really.
It's relentless, isn't it? It's, you know, as you say, it is, you know, fair comment that everything is in the here and now. Doesn't matter what you've done, where you've been. If your team's down the bottom and you're feeling the emotion, you're going home to have your tea on a Saturday night and your team's not doing well, then every football fan feels that's their place to vent. So it's about, you know, there'll be sections of the fans that will acknowledge what Mark's done, but some of them they're in pain at the moment because of where they are in the table. Yeah,
and we want to hear from those Stoke fans here on Sports Report. 6:06 with Jason and Mark Lawrenson to come at 7:30 tonight, but we're going to have a mini 6:06 at half-time of Everton Manchester United, which is our commentary to come from Goodison Park at 5:30. Dan's a Stoke fan. He says a toxic atmosphere, no ambition, no direction, and we've gone from pushing for Europe to relegation search. Don't let us down, Mr. Coates. Andrew says it's all backfired for Mark Hughes, rested key players against Chelsea and took a 5-0 beating because he had one eye on Newcastle, and now look what's happened. And Bryn says no more chances, Hughes. Fresh ideas, fresh approach needed. On the flip side, those Newcastle fans are going to love that journey back to the northeast tonight. Nico says big 3 points, especially important after disappointing performance and result against Brighton. Hoping we can kick off and with reinforcements in the January window. Over to you, Mr. Ashley. Matt says Perez has been good today, especially in an unorthodox position, and got an all-important goal. And Kate says Darlow has made 3 world-class saves today. Owe a lot to him for those 3 points. Danny, you're nodding your head. I mean, they were astonishing, some of those saves, weren't they, from Carl Darlow?
Unbelievable, you know, point blank as well. I think 2 out of 3 of them were from Biram Diouf. You'd expect Biram Diouf to score every single time. I'm thinking and waiting for the net to bulge, and Darlow just put his body on the line, got his hand to it, and that's exactly what you need when you're under the cosh. You need that kind of those heroic moments. It's always, you know, somebody in the team to turn up, and in that moment Darlow's come up with 2 worldy saves.
So what is your gut feeling here, Paul, with Peter Coates? And they showed him watching on in the rain. I mean, it's in these situations, and you know how it works as a manager, that clearly the pressure is piled on, and it will be intensified now. There's no getting away from that.
certainly would be magnified 100 times over. I think that's the big issue that the chairman's had. He either has to be strong with it, or you bow to the pressure, and Mark will be the one that's will be in the middle of that.
Do you think there'll be a side of Mark Hughes that thinks, do you know what, I don't need this?
Listen, there could well be. I done it. So I'm just speaking from my own experience. I done it. You think you put yourself out your misery and just let it happen, and then you go and start again. I think there might be a part of them, and there might be a part of them saying stick with it, and I think that's the big thing. I still expect Newcastle to still be in the similar position come the end of the season. I still think they'll still need to fight to get out. There's a number of teams down there that are going to do it, and I think Rafa will need to buy in January as well to strengthen it.
We're going to hear from Rafa Benitez live on Sports Report hopefully in the next couple of minutes. In fact, let's go to Pat Murphy, who's in the bowels of the Bet365 stadium waiting to speak to Rafa Benitez live on 5 Live Sport. What a result for him, Pat. You know, we've talked a lot about Mark Hughes.
Rafa Benitez is with me now, actually. Rafa, you're live on Radio 5 Live, reflecting on that superb breakaway goal from Perez, 20 minutes from time. A couple of magnificent saves from Darlow. It was all there. It was all compacted in those few minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I would say that the team deserved maybe to get 3 points. I'm sure that they will think the opposite, but the way that we were playing in the first half, the chances that we had, the way that we were controlling and playing counter-attack, I think that we deserved more. After we were under pressure with a couple of balls that we give away and they played counter-attack, but still we were working hard, and then we didn't have too many problems. The second half, we started, they were pushing, we were making some mistakes, but there's still nothing clear. Then the goal changed everything because they start pushing and pushing with crosses from everywhere, and we needed to defend and to play counter-attack, and I think we did well. So we had a couple of situations doing a little bit better. Maybe we could have scored the second goal, and they have a couple of chances with all these crosses and second ball that is difficult to stop Crouch winning balls in the air.
I know it's Darlow's job, but the first stop in particular to defy Diouf was magnificent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good, but I would say that the chances that we had also could be easier for us scoring the second goal. We didn't do it, and then you have to just give credit to our players, the way that they were defending, and also I would say that they were working also very hard. So sometimes when you have a team losing, you can see that, they are not doing, but they were doing everything, they were giving everything too.
I know it's only 3 points, as it were. We talk about 6 pointers and 9 pointers. There's only 3 points, but the significance of this win for you?
Yeah, it's massive because the way that we are working every game, and sometimes we are not lucky enough to get 3 points in this game against a team that is close to us in the table. Means that we have more confidence, but it's a long race and we have to keep going.
And what an important month this is going to be, both for you and the club. Mike Ashley, Amanda Staveley, lots of things in the mix there, aren't there?
No, the main thing is to enjoy it today, and hopefully we will be ready for the FA Cup, and then we will continue trying to do what we need to do to improve the team and to be sure that we can stay in the Premier League.
Very diplomatic, but what about the crowd? What about your supporters?
No, the fans are amazing. The fans, they realize that we need them, but especially when they travel, in the way that they come, the numbers that they come and the way that they support the team is really good. Really pleased with them.
Thank you, Rafa Benitez. There you go. He's too clever an old dog to be called by questions about Amanda Staveley and Mike Ashley, but you can tell how chuffed he is. He's seen it all before. I reckon this is probably a really great period in his managerial career in terms of proving a lot of people wrong.
Absolutely. Pat Murphy live with Rafa Benitez on Sports Report. We'll hopefully hear from Mark Hughes between now and 5:30 when we hand over to commentary from Goodison Park. Everton, Manchester United, Alan Green and Leon Osman will bring you that, and we'll certainly hear from Mark Hughes if we don't between now and 5:30 at half-time from Goodison Park, where we'll bring you a mini 606 with Jason and Mark Lawrenson, and then Jason and Mark will be here in full from 7:30. Next to Turf Moor, Ragnar Klavan scored an injury-time winner for Liverpool. They beat Burnley 2-1. Conor McNamara's there for us.
Yes, dramatic finish to the game, Will. A roller coaster of emotions as well for Burnley towards the end. Johan Bergud Munson diving header with the 87th minute on the clock to make it 1-1 at the time, and Burnley thought they had earned a hard-fought draw. However, Klavan got on the end of Lovren's very good header in the penalty area, bundled it over the line from close range. His first ever Premier League goal, and that secured the win for Liverpool. Earlier on in the match, a game, by the way, which they had started with just one of the Fab Four, Mane, with Coutinho not involved at all, Firmino on the bench, Salah injured, but as the original Fab Four once said, sometimes all you do need is one, and Mane with an excellent goal where he swiveled on the edge of the penalty area and stuck it in the top corner. That was a fantastic goal,
At the time, Liverpool thought one would be enough to win it. They needed two, but Clavan delivered in the end, and Liverpool get a very important 3 points.
Yeah, thanks, Connor. Khan, as a Liverpool fan, says Lovren and Klavan combined to get the winner for Liverpool in the last minute, playing for their futures, ! Imran says, talking about snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Well done, Liverpool. Johnny's a Burnley fan. An undeserved win for Liverpool. A frustrating defeat, but shows how far we've come. We're competing with the best. And Ben, also a Burnley fan, who's got in touch on 85058 at 5LiveSport on social media. We defend properly all game and then leave a centre-back unmarked for a last-minute free kick. Get your calls in for 606, and if you're a Stoke fan, we want to hear from you. 08085 909 693. Let's get a reminder of the team news ahead of our commentary game at 5:30. Everton against Manchester United. Alan Green.
Might need half an hour. There's 7 alterations made by Sam Allardyce to the starting 11 for Everton. Dropping out Kenny, Jagielka, Gay, who's injured, Lennon, McCarthy, Sigurdsson and Calvert-Lewin. Apart from Gay, the other 6 are all on the bench. And it's easier just to read down the names of the Everton 11, actually. The goalkeeper is Pickford. The defence is Holgate, Keane, Williams and Martina. Then we got Schneiderlin, Davis, Vlasic, Rooney, Balassi and Niasse. Now there are 3 changes made by Jose Mourinho. Young was suspended. The news of that suspension came through last night. That was for the elbow in the Southampton game on Saturday. Rojo replaces him. And then, of course, sadly, Lukaku had to be stretchered off the early stages of that draw against Southampton. He's absent. Rashford drops to the bench. And as well as Rojo, into the United lineup, Martial and Herrera. So it's De Gea in goal. A back 4 of Rojo, Lindelöf, Jones and Shaw. Then it's Pogba and Matic. Then Mata, Lingard, Martial and Herrera.
Alan, thank you. Alongside Alan at Goodison Park is former Everton midfielder Leon Osman. And Leon, I'm just trying to get inside Sam Allardyce's head here, having walked away from Crystal Palace after whatever happened with England and having left Sunderland. He'll love this one. He'll absolutely love it. In fact, Leon, I'm going to come back to you because Sean Dyche, the Burnley manager, is waiting to speak to us live. He's with Conor McNamara.
Sean, not for the first time this season. It's been just plucked away from you in the very last minute of the game. A roller coaster of emotion for you at the end.
Yeah, frustrating obviously with the final moments of the game because we delivered a good performance and would have deserved a point, I felt. But sometimes these things happen. It's a soft goal, from a soft moment before that. But it happens sometimes, as I suggested, and not very often to us. So we've done that to lots of other teams, I'm pleased to say. But it did happen today.
Before Mane's goal, Liverpool hadn't created an awful lot. That was a fantastic individual strike. You must have been pleased, though, how your team were able to battle back to get in level terms.
No, very pleased. It wasn't just battling. I thought there was some good play. I thought we affected the game in a lot of different ways. Affected it with chances, affected it with good defending. You got to remember that's virtually the same team that played the other day, and there's a lot of noise about, you can't play them players. Well, you saw today, that's a group of players highly motivated to go and win a game. Forget about whether they played or not 2 days ago. And we've done everything we can to get something from the game, and I thought we deserved something from the game. I mean, you got to remember, you've got a team like Liverpool with their power wasting time. You've got the keeper taking forever. You've got throw-ins taking forever. Free kicks taking forever. That's a mark in itself, to have a team like them having to do that against Burnley. That hasn't always been the case, trust me. So there's a lot of, although the frustration of the final moments of the game, there's a lot of pride in how this team's moved forward. Not just this season, but from where it was a season ago. So, the bigger picture I'm very pleased with, but obviously today is a frustrating one because the point got away from us.
Yeah, you mentioned frustrating there, and I'm sure, the pride you have for the players as well, but yet, sometimes it is out of your own hand when the referee's decision, whatever, but it's another late goal. Is there something you can do to improve that now in the second half of the season?
Stats are good. Our stats are good on late goals. So we know the stats across the league. We know the stats on set pieces, late goals, early goals, every minute of every goal that's ever scored, and our stats are good. So I'm not overthinking that's for sure, because the fact is, you've got to remember, you're playing against, they've got 2 key players missing today, and they looked at the 4 out the front 5, and I think they're all bought in for over 30 million or about 30 million. That ain't bad. So, there'll be a lot of noise, they're losing him and whatever. But they're still a fine side, make no mistake. And I thought we kept them quiet for long periods today. And as you said, the chance they had, they weren't golden chances. I don't think our keepers had too much to do. Likewise, theirs are not overly amounts, but I think he had slightly more. And that's something we've got to continue to work on, being a continued threat in the top third. But we scored a deserved goal in the end, and then like I say, a soft moment, and unfortunately you lose.
John, thanks for talking to us live on 5 Live. That's Sean Dyche there, and his team had the point snatched off them with that very late winner for Clavan for Liverpool. Will.
Connor, thank you very much. Two very bizarre moments on New Year's Day in terms of games in the EFL. A late goal by Crawley, who've won 2-1 at Yeovil. 16 minutes added time in that League Two match. Play suspended because of a drone over the pitch. And earlier we mentioned, if you weren't with us, we'll remind you, a possible first in League Two. I'm pretty sure it is. Father and son sent off at the same time. Charlie Cooper sent off for Forest Green against Wickham. His father, Mark, who manages Forest Green, was then sent off for protesting. Incredible. Two events there in League Two. Let's go back and speak to Leon Osborne. What I was asking you, Leon, about Sam Allardyce is, having left Crystal Palace in the way that he did, and everyone's thinking, do you know what, he's just going to relax. You're never convinced when Sam Allardyce says that. Now he's in a position to put Manchester United to the sword with a revitalised Everton team.
Yeah, well, he seems the type of character that thrives on games like this, and being involved in big games. He took on the England job, and things didn't work out. He got back in at Crystal Palace, but for one reason or another decided that wasn't where he wanted to be, and now he's at Goodison in being fair to everyone else, what is probably the best job he's had, barring the England job. And he's now able to pick his wits against top teams like Manchester United. He started well at Goodison Park. I still think there's a lot to come from Sam Allardyce. I think he'll improve this Everton team further once he's had a transfer window. But this is an opportunity against a Manchester United team that hasn't been firing on all cylinders lately.
More from Leon shortly. Kick-off at Goodison Park, 9 minutes away. Everton, Manchester United. Commentary to come on 5 Live Sport. Elsewhere, Leicester eased past Huddersfield by 3-0 at the King Power, thanks to goals from Mahrez, Slimani and Albrighton. Juliet Farrington's in the tunnel.
Yeah, just been talking to David Wagner as well. In fact, he's just a few metres away from me. He's still smiling. He says he's gutted, though. He said he thought Huddersfield did well in the first half but made mistakes in the second half that led to all Leicester's 3 goals. Mahrez's goal, which was Leicester's first, by the way, absolutely superb, wonderful, and Albrighton lashing in their third in added time right off the very end to start 2018 off in style. And then that poor run, of course, that Leicester were on in terms of results. But there was a surprise as well for us. New Year's Day, Adrian Silva, that's the big talking point, given special dispensation to play today after we were all told and briefed that he wouldn't be allowed. He came on for the final few minutes to loud applause and cheers after waiting since the end of August to make his Leicester debut.
Thanks, Jules. So, one of the huge results today, in terms of significance at least, Stoke City 0, Newcastle United 1. A jubilant Rafa Benitez. We've already heard from him. Let's hear from Mark Hughes. He's been speaking to Damien Johnson.
You know how this will be seen. You gambled on your team selection and people will say it's not come off.
Everybody's talking about that and saying I gambled. How did I gamble on the defence? There were only 4 players that I had. If we'd have stayed in the game to half-time at Chelsea, we could have had to go in the second half. As it was, we lost 3 goals in the first 20 minutes. So from that point, what was I going to do? Risk players that obviously had a big part to play today. So you look at the teams, every team that played today and played Saturday made changes. I think Rafa Benitez made 6 today himself, left out his 2 main strikers. So everybody's doing it. I don't see why my decisions should be highlighted more than others.
Where does this leave you personally? Because the fans clearly made their feelings known at the end.
Well, they're frustrated, they're disappointed. That's as a consequence of the high standards that we've set, that I've set here, that we're below them at the moment. So the key is that everybody sticks together and we get on with it. It's no good feeling sorry for ourselves and looking to blame people. I think we just need to take it on board, take responsibility for what we're doing here, and don't be cowed by it. Get on with it.
Are you confident you can do it, and quickly?
Well, who else is going to do it? In terms of the knowledge of this group, the time I've been here, then I'm best placed to do that. So we just need to be allowed to get on with our job. That's what we'll do. We'll get back together and we go again.
So the full-time scores in the Premier League today: Brighton 2, Bournemouth 2 was the early kick-off. It finished Burnley 1, Liverpool 2, Leicester City 3, Huddersfield 0, Stoke 0, Newcastle 1, with commentary of Everton, Manchester United to come in around 5 minutes' time. Elsewhere, trainer Alan King celebrated the 1,500th success of his career when Yanworth, the joint favourite, narrowly returned to winning ways in the Bet Bright Dipper Novices Chase at Cheltenham. With news of that and a less than happy new year for for jockey Adam Wedge at Exeter. His correspondent Cornelius Lycett.
Alan King, who was long-term assistant to training legend David Nicholson before starting out on his own in 1999, has trained amongst that 1500 all kinds of stellar race winners. Names like Catch It, Voy pour Ustedes, My Way to Souls and Smad Place, many more. And hopes for Yanworth have always been high too. He started favourite for 2 Cheltenham Festival hurdle races, though without success. And the start of his steeplechasing career has been a little stuttering, with a win, yes, but also a fall, a second at Newbury before today's neck, but probably more comfortable than that success over the gallant Sizing Tennessee in the Cheltenham mud. The winner Yanworth jumped better today, probably got a bit lonely out in front, all on his own late on. Here's the winning jockey, Barry Geraghty.
Quality horse like him, that generally they don't enjoy the real mud like that, but he just pulled up when he got to the front. But no, he's a work in progress, but he's going the right way.
So work in progress. So you still see him as that?
Oh no, I would, and I'd be very happy with him.
Learning,
and I'd imagine he'd be better on better ground.
Yeah. People are beginning to think, well, I'm looking forward to seeing him at the festival. What are you thinking?
He'd be gone a bit cold on him after his Newbury run, but no, I'd be very happy with him there going forward. I think he's back on track.
Yanworth will get 2 festival race entries as expected. Away from here at Exeter, they raced despite A, very soft ground conditions, and B, a low sun affecting visibility, the 2 of which led to various steeplechase fences being omitted. And jockey Adam Wedge, riding the odds-on favourite Report to Base, missed out 1 too many in the beginner's chase and was disqualified after winning easily. Wedge was banned for 21 days for taking the wrong course, for which he apologised, describing it as a brain freeze.
Cornelius, thank you. Let's dip into the Championship where it finished. Derby County 1, Sheffield United 1. Derby having to settle for a draw at Pride Park, which is where we find Vicky Sparks.
Yeah, the complete point for Sheffield United, particularly given theirs and Derby's contrasting form coming into this one. Pretty impressive. Leon Clark earned it with his 15th goal of the season in the second half, courtesy of some woeful Derby defending. He was one of 2 Sheffield United players left totally unmarked at the far post, and he got there first to head home Donaldson's cross. Matty Vidra had earlier notched his 15th goal of the season for Derby, slamming home a first half penalty after Baldock was adjudged to have handled. Vyman missed a good chance for Derby at 1-0, firing wide on the angle when played in, but it was rather disappointing overall from the home side. Although they are now 7 games unbeaten, they stay second, 9 points behind leaders Wolves, who play tomorrow. Sheffield United remain 6th and keep their surprise push for promotion on track.
The thriller of the day came at Kenilworth Road. It finished at leaders Luton 4, Lincoln 2. Lindsay Hooper.
Yes, a frenetic first half with 4 goals and a sending off for each team. Saw Luton peg the score back twice to go in 2-2 at the break. Man of the match, Danny Hilton, put Luton in front with his 15th league goal of the season. That was after Lincoln had hit the post, but then the home side put the game out of reach. Cornick with the 4th. The league leaders top the home league form table with 11 wins in 13 matches, and they're also top of League 2. Luton's first match for 10 years on New Year's Day, and one they won't forget.
Players are out on the pitch at Goodison Park. We're a couple of minutes away from our commentary. Everton, Manchester United on the way after the news with Rob Watts.
More live Premier League football than anyone else. This is BBC 5 Live.
Police in London are investigating 4 unrelated fatal stabbings in the space of 24 hours. The victims were all young men, a 17-year-old, 18-year-old and 2 20-year-olds. 3 died yesterday and the 4th early this morning. 5 people have suffered knife injuries in a fight at a New Year's Eve event in Sheffield. 2 of them with life-threatening injuries. Police were called to a Great Gatsby-themed party at Crystal Bar shortly after 2 a.m. Chukaramuna has described the deaths of 5 members of a British family in a seaplane crash in Australia as horrific. One of them was Will Cousins, who campaigned alongside the Labour MP with the group Open Britain. And police believe a fire that destroyed up to 1,400 vehicles in a car park in Liverpool was started accidentally. The multi-story caught light during a horse show at the nearby Echo Arena.
Sports Report. This is BBC 5 Live.
So finished Burnley 1, Liverpool 2. Here's the Liverpool manager, Jurgen Klopp.
Fantastic. After the Leicester game, which was really intense, coming here to one of the toughest places, I would say, in this season against Burnley is really difficult. Having the injuries, the miss we had, makes it not easier, plus the need of rotation. I like rotation, to be honest, because I really love the quality in my squad, but bring them all together. It's not, and after a long break with Adam, injury break, and then with Tom from the beginning, a very young boy, and all that stuff. So it's just a little bit. It's difficult, and how the boys did, I'm really pleased. It was not fantastic football, it was fantastic attitude, and that's what I wanted us to show today, and so I'm really happy.
The top of the Premier League table looks like this. Manchester City first, played 21, 59 points. Chelsea second, 21, 45 points. Manchester United in third, played 21, 44 points. Liverpool in fourth, 44 points from 22. At the bottom, Stoke 16th, 2 points above the bottom two, played 22, 20 points. Palace 19 points from 21. Then the bottom three, West Ham, West Brom and Swansea, who are on 16 points. Thanks to Paul Lambert. Thank you to Danny Webber. 6:06 on the way after this. Full commentary now of Everton, Manchester United, Leon Osman and Alan Green.
We're just underway at Goodison Park. Weather-wise, it's an absolutely horrendous evening. I think the rain stopped about 45 minutes ago, and that stoppage lasted, 15 seconds. Not a very nice evening, but I'm sure we've got a great game ahead of us here on 5 Live. Everton on the attack, the ball played in deep into the 6-yard box where it's caught by De Gea. Let me run down the two lineups. First of all, Everton. The goalkeeper is Pickford. The defence is Holgate, Keane, Williams and Martina. Then it's Schneiderlin, Davis, Blasic, Rooney, Balassi and Nias. They're in blue shirts, white shorts, white socks. Manchester United in red shirts, black shorts and black socks. Their keeper is De Gea. Their defence is... I'm just checking where Lindelöf is playing. Is he playing at right back? Yes, he is. Lindelöf is at right back. Then it's Jones, then it's Rojo, then Shaw, then Pogba and Matic, and then the attacking four, Mata, Lingard, Martial and Herrera. Lindelöf is versatile, so the Swede, in the absence of Ashley Young, he plays at right back, and Rojo, who's accustomed to playing the centre defence when he figured for United, that's where he is alongside Jones. They're on the attack now. The ball played in to the Everton penalty area, chased it by Lingard, but Pickford got there first. And what are your thoughts in the early moments of the game, Leon?
Good evening, Alan.
Good evening.
I think Everton will be encouraged. I think Yannick Bolasie, who's had a long time out, he's back into the team tonight. First time he's figured at home. He's
chases after the ball now, takes it off Rojo, heads the ball harmlessly though into the 6-yard box, and it's caught by De Gea.
Yeah, Yannick Bolasie, he's had a run at Lindelof, who's playing out on that right side. He done him, got to the byline, put a cross in, keeper caught it, but he'll certainly be encouraged with that movement on throughout the game. It's the first time he's figured since injuring himself a year ago against United, so he'll be pleased to be out there and performing.
Here is Bolasie. Bolasie stabs the ball forward, chased after it by Blasic, but he can't pick up possession, and now it's with Phil Jones from Manchester United. Rooney, of course, is captain of Everton against the team he graced for so many years. Must have the bottom of his stomach feels slightly odd, but of course he was an Evertonian from the start. Now here's Luke Shaw, very close to his manager, who gave him fearful abuse from the touchline in Saturday's game against Southampton.
There's nothing worse than playing close to your manager, Alan. When you play out wide and your manager, if he's not moaning at you, he's passing information through you, and it can be difficult to concentrate in the game. So, good luck, Luke Shaw.
Yeah, as Bolasie coming forward, it loses the ball, and now it's taken up by Juan Mata. Mata almost fed it through successfully to Martial, intercepted by Everton, and Rooney plays it to the left to Martina. On it goes on the far side of the field. Now it's back to Rooney. Am I imagining things? Has the rain stopped again for a few seconds? Been an awful
No, it's still raining. It's just fine rain at the moment, Alan, but it's still raining.
Thank goodness. It'll stop at the end of the game. Time for me to get to the car. Now here's a header on by Holgate. Right back tonight instead of Kenny. Kenny's on the bench. Holgate again. Holgate feeds it forward to Davis. Now it's into the penalty area. Everton on the attack here. It's Blasic. Blasic plays it back. Holgate with a rather weak left-footed shot. Rebounds to Rooney. Rooney shoots, takes a deflection, and that's behind for a corner.
Oh, it's good play by Everton. Holgate, who's in for Kenny tonight, linked up with Blasic, who was also in for the first time in a while. Got into the box. Good bit of play. Holgate had what is a weak shot on his left foot. Would want to do better, but the ball fell kindly for Rooney, who took a touch and struck it with the technique we all expect him to do, and it was blocked wide for a corner. But again,
Rooney's going to take that corner, by the way, in front of the United fans. We're all chanting Rooney, Rooney, Rooney. He's still beloved in Manchester. Well, one half of Manchester. You know what I mean. Rooney to take the corner from the left. He's going to play it in right-footed. Lots of blue shirts waiting for it. Directed well, and then the header is looping over from Holgate.
Yeah, and a good corner, set piece from Wayne Rooney right onto the pretty much a yard or two away from the penalty spot. Everton started 4 players in a bunch, made it difficult for the United players to pick up. All went in different directions. It was Holgate who attacked the centre of the goal, but unfortunately just couldn't jump high enough to get over it. But again, encouraging signs from Everton.
Let me remind you of the scorelines earlier in the Premier League. Brighton 2, Bournemouth 2, Burnley 1, Liverpool 2, Leicester 3, Huddersfield 0, and Stoke 0, Newcastle 1. There is unquestioned pressure on Mark Hughes. I'm not saying it's justified, but it's there. Here's Rooney in the centre circle for Everton now. Loose pass from Wayne Rooney, giving the ball away to Mata. Mata now leaves it, and it's Matic coming forward, just flicks the ball to his right, to Herrera, onto the far side of the field. Lindelöf, the Swede, back to Herrera. Herrera whips it in towards Martial. It's bouncing into the penalty area now. Williams trying to deal with it for Everton, and then a massive appeal for handball there, and I think the referee has agreed. It's a free kick to Everton.
Yeah, it was foot up against Lingard. Good defender from Schneiderlin. Everton have started as a 3-man midfield. Schneiderlin playing behind Davis and Rooney, with Balassi and Vlasic playing really wide. United, Martial through the middle, looking to use his pace on the counter-attack. So far, when United have got the ball, Everton have dropped really deep, denying the space for them to get in behind. And we'll see how that develops through the game.
King to Holgate, on to Balassi. Took it in his chest, but the assistant disagrees. And I think as a result, it's certainly at least a throw-in to Manchester United. It may even be a free kick if they can get the ball back from the crowd. Yeah, it's only a throw-in, which Shaw will take. Halfway inside his own half. Thrown to the United skipper today, Pogba, back to Shaw. And Shaw chips it over the halfway line, headed away by King. Drops to Rooney. Suggesting that Rooney may have handled the ball there, but he got away with it. Didn't keep possession, and Manchester United have it there on the far side of the field. It's with Phil Jones, just ahead of the D of his own penalty area. On to Herrera. Herrera approaching the halfway line, leaves it now for Pogba, and Pogba drills it towards the right flank. Instantly controlled by Mata. He's tackled, but the ball goes out of play, and it must hit Mata last, because it's going to be a throw-in to Everton. Just to go back to the Shaw thing, which actually greatly disturbed me on Sunday when I was commentating for 5 Live at Old Trafford. I just thought, okay, so it happens to fullbacks and wide players, given their proximity to the dugout. But it was unrelenting, the pressure and drive. Really felt for someone who I think has got a lot of talent and needs encouragement.
Yeah, well, obviously there's different ways of managing players. He's brought Luke Shaw in, who not only has he quite obviously and publicly not been happy about performances in his time since they've been together, but he's now brought him in, and he's playing right in front of him, and sometimes managers can't help but try and play the game through players, and that's what happens when they're on the side of the field. And Luke Shaw, that's another thing he's got to play through at the moment.
Holgate takes the ball from Vlasic, and then he was caught, and Andre Mariner, the referee, responds by awarding a free kick to Everton. So now we see Keane and Williams going up to join Balassi on the edge of this penalty, this United penalty here. Holgate's there too, and Wayne Rooney will take the free kick.
It's a good area of the field, this, for Everton. Wayne Rooney's got great delivery, and Everton have got height in the field, so it's vital that he gets a good ball into the box.
8 yards in from the near touchline, the right touchline, and the free kick taken right-footed by Wayne Rooney, swirling towards the far side, but he's overhit that, and that was well beyond any blue shirts, and is taken away on the far side by Herrera. Herrera hits it over the halfway line, asking rather too much of Martial, and it goes back to the goalkeeper, Pickford. Pickford clears, and it's headed on the far side of the field, but no, not brought under control. Well, might be now. Certainly Davis is hustling Pogba. The referee awards a free kick.
Yeah, things are a little bit scrappy at the moment. Neither team's really got control of the game. A couple of flashes of attacks, especially from Everton, but at the moment it's a story of sloppy passing and scrapping for the ball in the middle of the field.
Ball's out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Everton on the far side of the field. It's thrown back to Martina, and Martina, he was fortunate with that. That could easily have been intercepted by Pogba, but it did reach his target. That was Holgate. Holgate back to Keane, and Keane slips it over the halfway line towards Vlasic. Vlasic did really well, holding the ball off from Shaw. Finds Holgate, and Holgate sweeps it in high into the penalty area. The United penalty close to the ass, and it's headed away.
It was a very hopeful ball from Holgate, not far inside the Manchester United half, on the touchline. He sort of hung it up over the Manchester United centre half, in between the area for the keeper. The keeper thought about coming. Rocco realised he had to deal with it, and he has to put him under some real pressure, and Everton got a corner. And sometimes that's how you have to operate. You have to get off to the second ball.
Rooney to take the corner from the right, park end of the stadium, played in towards the near post, and a bit like his free kick earlier, it wasn't particularly well delivered by Wayne Rooney, and the Everton move, the counter move, breaks down. It's out of play for a throw into Manchester United, this near side of the field.
It's not what we associate with Wayne Rooney.
No,
we associate top-class delivery, real good technique in all areas of the field, especially set pieces, but that's two set pieces on the run. One he overhit, that one was hitting the first man, and disappointing start for him.
Lines are open, by the way, for 6:06. Jason and Mark Lawrenson in charge tonight. 08085 909 693. Well, it's 0-0. Everton and Manchester United. The three afternoon games in the Premier League were all 0-0 at half time. But actually, this has started quite brightly, and particularly from an Everton perspective. That's good work by Balassi. Ball's back in the edge of the centre circle. Schneiderlin initially, and now it's Davis. Taken up by Rooney. Holgate's got his right arm aloft on this right flank, but he's ignored. The ball is swept towards the left, and it's now with Martina, the fullback. Martina back to Rooney. Rooney in quite a deep roll. That's a good ball in to Balassi. Balassi midway inside the Manchester United half. United have got everybody back bar Martial. Now it's with Rooney again. Rooney steps away from Herrera, just taps the ball forward. Fed back to Davis. Davis to Martina on the far side. Somebody's going to get the cross in eventually. Not at the moment, because it's with Rooney again, and Rooney plays it to the right to Holgate. Holgate into Schneiderlin, former United player himself, of course. Now Rooney. And again, it's rather loose from Wayne Rooney. That's intercepted by Lindelöf. Lindelöf gets the ball back from Herrera and then feeds it back to De Gea.
Yeah, I mean, it was loose from Wayne Rooney, but in the last minute or so, Everton just starting to string a few passes together all through Wayne Rooney. And the disappointing thing watching it is everyone's passing the ball back to Wayne Rooney, hoping that he makes a pass. There's 3 or 4 opportunities for Everton players to turn and take responsibility and try and do something themselves. And each time the ball was played back to Wayne Rooney, and it's a tough ask when you're constantly asking the same player to make the important passes. And sometimes I think 1 or 2 of the Everton players need to take that responsibility.
Matic to Jones, on to Lindelöf on the far side, back to Jones over the halfway line. He spins away from Nias, feeds it to Matic, and now it's taken up by Herrera, and on by Lingard to Pogba. Herrera again to Matic. This is a bit like the way United played on Saturday, a bit laboured, slow. The passes assured but not swift enough. That might change. Pogba looking to play 1-2. It works. Pogba feeds it back. Oh, goodness gracious. The pass was behind 3 red-shirted colleagues on the edge of the penalty area, and Everton cleared the danger.
Oh, it was great play from Pogba. As you said, it just looked a little bit laboured in the build-up. Pogba got hold of the ball, played 2 crisp passes, one after the other, got a 1-2, got into the box. You thought he was going to shoot. He pulled it across the 6-yard box, just in front of the penalty spot. And you thought there was 3 United players, all could have had a shot. 2 of them dummied it, and the third one couldn't get there. But much better from Manchester United.
14 minutes gone here on 5 Live's second commentary today. The first of them finished Brighton 2, Bournemouth 2. It's 0-0 here at Goodison Park between Everton and Manchester United. The earlier meeting this season, a thumping victory for Manchester United by 4-0, and amongst the scores that day, Lukaku. It would be interesting to see what the reception would have been for Lukaku tonight if he'd been fit to play.
Yeah, I'd been interested to hear that myself.
Yes, interesting. 75 million he cost. And now here's Martial to Mata in the centre of the Everton half. Mata, just a simple pass and half expecting it back from Herrera. Instead it goes to Lindelof on the far side of the field. Back to Herrera once more. Let's say at best it's patient from Manchester United, but it's also slow. Anyway, Rojo comes forward. Rojo crosses low, half beaten away by Everton. Martial's shot, stroke cross, high and wide.
Yeah, I mean, patience probably the word to say about Manchester United. They are being patient. They've started to get more of the ball. They're now starting to play the game in the Everton half, which is an improvement. But at the moment, I just think that the passes are just a touch sloppy, just the wrong side of each other, or just a little bit of a bounce in, making their teammate have to concentrate on to control it. And that's given the Everton players an extra second to get in good positions at the moment. They just need to sharpen up them passes.
The results they've had of late, United, it has put them under pressure from the teams contesting the top 4 places. And on Saturday they lost second place to Chelsea, and then that Liverpool win at Burnley, very late winning goal scored by Clavan, means that Liverpool are now level on points with Manchester United. United have this game in hand, of course. And Manchester City are somewhere in the far distance. There's Rooney, goodness, well, he was aggressive in his challenge on Pogba, but also fair. Met the ball, put it out of play for a throw-in.
Yeah, he did. I thought they were both aggressive. Pogba missed the ball. Rooney went low and for the ball. Both went in hard, and it's great to see when both players just get up and get on with it, and there's no asking the question to the referee. Neither one of them turned to the referee. It was a throw-in and play on. It was great to see.
Absolutely right. Throw-in for Everton. Take it by Holgate to Schneiderlin, and back it goes to Ashley Williams inside the centre circle. Swift to Martina on the far side, the left full-back. Martina just short of the halfway line and plays it all the way back to Pickford, the goalkeeper. Pickford turns it onto his right foot, and he passes it well out of his penalty area straight to Holgate.
That was a fantastic pass with
very good
his so-called left foot, his bad foot, sorry, which is his right. It just tempted, I think it was Martial in, but the pass got where it went to, and well done, goalkeeper.
That's what we're so accustomed to seeing these days. Goalkeepers passing the ball successfully, like Rooney's driven ball to the right hand side. I thought Holgate was going to get onto it, but it was slightly ahead of him. I think
all the rain on the turf just helped that to skip out of play, but it was a great spot, and it looked like an even better pass. But as I say, I think the surface and all the rain we've had on it just speeded up the pass.
I'll mention this in a moment. Davis comes forward, shoots, takes a deflection, that's gone behind for an Everton corner. I just think, this is not a criticism of Wayne, but obviously he is slowing down a little bit as he gets older, but he's still got the brain, hasn't he? He's got the vision.
Well, that's it. As all players naturally slow down, but you look at the career he's had. Most of the career he's had has been through his intelligence. How good he's been has been through his intelligence, and that's something he certainly won't lose.
Rooney's going to take the corner again in front of the Manchester United fans. Right-footed, in-swinging corner. Lots of red shirts back. One of them heads it away. It's picked up, and that was a driven shot by Vlasic behind for a goal kick. There's also an important championship game tonight. Aston Villa against Bristol City. John Akers.
Third placed Bristol City up against Aston Villa in 8. 6 points between them, 0-0 at present here after 17 minutes. But Bristol City have started the better. Joe Bryan's had an effort block. Bobby Reid has had the ball in the net, but the flag was up, and Marlon Pack a half volley wide from 25 yards. 0-0.
Be fascinating on 5 Live when Manchester City play Bristol City in the first leg of their League Cup semi-final. If Bristol City do what they did with Manchester United, had a real go. We'll see. Anyway, now it's Everton on the attack down the right hand side. It's with Niasse outside of the penalty area, faced by Shaw, runs inside, gets a kind deflection. Niasse into the penalty area, then he let the ball squirt away from his foot. Half cleared. Rooney collects for Everton, sweeps in towards the far side, towards Balassi. Balassi hasn't kept it in play. The referee couldn't judge, so he looked immediately to his assistant, about 50 yards to his right. He had the flag up, and it's a goal kick to Manchester United.
Yeah, I didn't think he needed to touch that, Balassi. Rooney tried to play what looked like a great little chipped pass over the top of, I think it was Lindelof. Balassi looked like he might get there. Lindelof got a touch, and instead of letting it run out for a corner to Everton, he tried to keep it in, and ended up being a goal kick.
Which has been taken by David De Gea, and that went a long way. And now it's Pogba who takes it up, and then he lost the ball to Vlasic, pulled Vlasic back, and that's clearly a free kick. I mean, he's a monster, isn't he, Pogba? The size of him, and physically very, very strong.
Yeah, and what makes him so good, Paul Pogba, is you usually get physical players in the Premier League that are very physical, both power and running, but the technique doesn't match the physicality. Or you might get small players who are very good technically, haven't got it physically. Pogba's got both, and that's why he is the value he is. That's why he's so important to Manchester United. And I'm not sure I've seen the best of him since he came back after his injury and suspension, but if he hits form, United are flying.
Many Manchester United fans ask the question, why did Sir Alex let him go in the first place? It's expensive to bring him back. Here he is now challenging for the ball, and then that was a foul challenge. That's a Manchester United free kick for the tackle on Martial. Mourinho out of his technical area. The technical areas here at Goodison Park are so close to the near touchline. There's only a yard and a half from the edge of the technical area to the touchline.
And I can't say the amount of times that the fourth official has been picky over that line and getting them back into that box. It's incredible considering it's only a yard off the field.
Rooney might have thought he was fouled there by Herrera. The referee disagreed. Manchester United have the ball. Herrera stabs it through towards Martial. Had he collected possession there, he was clean through. He didn't. It went through to Pickford, and Pickford throws out to Davis. Davis, he's brought down by Herrera. That is a free kick.
That little bit of play just showed what Manchester United are capable of. It's been slow. We've said patient. A touch on laboured at times to Manchester United, but just in a flash there was a sharp ball up to forward into Martial, back to Herrera, played back towards Martial. The speed of the attack just caught Everton flat-footed, and if he could have just brought the touch into his stride, Martial would have been through one-on-one, and that's what Everton have got to be aware of, and it's also what Manchester United need to start doing more of in the game.
Yeah, and United fans probably think they could do with a bit more of that sharpness.
Absolutely,
speed, because they've got the players with their technical ability, no question about that. Nearly halfway through the first half here on 5 Live. Everton 0, Manchester United 0. A reminder of the number for 606, which will start it away at half time with Jason Mohammed and Mark Lawrence in the studio. 08085 909 693. Might hear from some Newcastle fans and Stoke fans after that Newcastle win at Stoke, and from Liverpool supporters. Liverpool winning 2-1 away to Burnley. Lindelof on the far side, the Swede, and he's forced to retreat, and then he taps it infield to Herrera, goes for the return ball, and it goes towards Mata. That wasn't a great ball from the fullback, and it's cleared upfield, but I think that Nias is offside, yes, and it's a free kick for offside, literally a yard inside the United half. I'm not even sure the ball was static when the free kick was taken. Anyway, it's allowed to carry on. Here's Lingard to Pogba. Lingard once more, back to Matic, and now Herrera in the centre of the Everton half and running toward the blue shirts, hoping for a kind pass back in his direction. Didn't come. Cleared by Everton over the halfway line. Bloho to Matic, and Matic moves forward. He's gained about 10 yards. Now it's a weak ball. It was meant for Mata. Didn't find Mata at all. It's with Balassi. Now back to Rooney. Rooney ahead of the centre circle. Good pass forward. Vlasic is there. Vlasic in the D. It might run, and it does run. Nias is through. Nias tackled in the end, and it's behind off Rojo for a corner.
Well, that all came from a sloppy pass from Matic in the middle of the field. United seemed to be very comfortable in possession. One sloppy pass, Lindelof and Shaw were up the field, gave Balassi the ball. He was able to travel forward with it. Rooney picked what was a great run out from Vlasic. A couple of ricochets, and Nias was nearly through on goal. And sometimes the speed of your attack is what catches teams out, and Everton need to use that if they pinch the ball off United in that manner.
Rooney again with the corner from the left, played in towards the near post, skims off a United head, and out comes De Gea to catch the ball as it dropped towards his arms. And De Gea, quite deliberately backing up towards the right-hand side. A partial mistake by Davis, but he's helped out by colleagues in the end, and Davis finds Rooney. Rooney left of the centre circle, back to Schneiderlin. Schneiderlin to the far side. And now it's on to, from Martina rather. Oh, God, given away cheaply by Velasquez, and now Manchester United can counter-attack here. Pogba to Lingard. Lingard towards the left side, now into the penalty area. The sort of half-hearted attempt at a cross hits a defender and goes out of play for a Manchester United throw. There's no score here, but there's been a goal at Villa. John Akers.
Aston Villa 1, Bristol City 0. Terrific header by Scott Hogan after a cross from the left from Adoma. Drifted it in beautifully, rose and headed over the goalkeeper. Villa lead 1-0.
United were never going to lead from that shot by Phil Jones. It was from about 35 yards and it was high over the crossbar.
I don't think any Everton players thought he would be going to score from that situation either. There was no pressure on the ball. They just I think they were trying to encourage him to have a shot, and he obliged, and Everton win the ball back. But you know, in the last 5 minutes, both teams have been threatening from a poor pass from the opposition. I think it was Matic gave it away first. I think it was Nias gave it away on the second occasion, and both teams threatened. And you know, it's been quite slow in the build-up. Other than that, when teams are getting set, they're getting back into position early and making it very difficult. But if you give the ball away and give the opposition to counter-attack, both teams are looking threatening.
Everton 0, Manchester United 0. 20 minutes to half-time here on 5 Live. Shaw with a throw-in for the visitors towards Pogba. Well, I'm not sure Pogba made any contact, but Lingard picks it up, and then Lingard was tripped. He'd have been happier to get the pass through to Martial, but it is a free kick to Manchester United.
It was a real opportunity. Lingard broke through Everton's midfield. Schneiderlin and Rooney, as if they weren't there. He started to run at Michael Keane, got past him. He had Lindelof one side, he had Martial the other, and if he could have just stayed on his feet a moment longer and slid one of them in, it was a real opportunity for Manchester United. But as it was, Michael Keane brought him down, and I don't know if he got a yellow card, but he probably should have got one.
Mata's going to take the free kick. Sammy Lee screaming urgently at the Everton defenders about who they should be picking up. Mata plays the free kick in, left-footed, header on, but it's simple for Pickford. It bounces in front of him, easy for the Everton goalkeeper. He didn't really have a player upfield quickly enough to clear quickly, so he waits, and then he throws the ball out to Keane. 7 changes made by Sam Allardyce. There were 7 changes made by Jurgen Klopp at Turf Moor. I wonder if both managers have half a mind on Friday night and the FA Cup tie between the Merseyside pair. Commentary you'll hear on 5 Live. Here's Rooney. I can't imagine him making changes. Sam Allardyce, 7 changes here though. You know, for an FA Cup tie, you're playing against Manchester United.
No, I mean, that won't be in mind. This is the game he was thinking about, and you know, he made 7 changes to come in and freshen up. As yet, I'm not quite seeing the energy he will have wanted. There's been a couple of opportunities to make runs forward. Everyone wants the ball to feet at the moment, and you know, Manchester United are happy to defend with the ball in front of them.
Here's Martial collecting possession deep inside the Everton half. United left side, played in to Shaw. Shaw's just outside the penalty. Back to Martial. Low ball in. Pushed away by Pickford. Goes behind the pillar, so I can't see. And it's cleared by Everton.
It was fantastic play again from this left side. Martial got it, cut inside, played it to Luke Shaw, and you know, he was cutting inside, looking as if he was going to shoot. He picked out a tremendous little flick pass through to Martial, who slid it across the face of the goal. Pickford at full stretch got a hand to it, and fortunately for Everton, it fell to Martina, who booted it away. But there was no Manchester United player in that 6-yard box because Martial was wide. And
United are picking up the game now. There's no question about that. They're on the attack once more. It's on the left side with Lingard. Back to Shaw, and Shaw feeds it into Matic. No room for a shot by the midfielder, so Matic keeps the ball for the moment, and then he taps it towards Herrera, left by Mata for Herrera. Now Mata once more. Mata approaching the D. Passes from United players. Nothing of great incision at the moment. Now Herrera again. To Lindelof on the far side. Back to Herrera. Into Pogba. Herrera again. How many passes is this? And they still haven't got the ball into the Everton penalty area. But they don't, and it's cleared to Rooney, and Rooney should knock it forward to Davis. Now maybe Everton can counter-attack here. 16 minutes left in the first half. It's with Balassi on the far side of the field. Couple of step overs. Nias cuts infield towards the penalty, and then the cross was deep from Balassi. I'm not sure to what great intent, because it's beyond any blue shirts, and it's out of play for a throw-in.
Well, if I was Everton, that's something I'd certainly be looking at. Getting the ball wide to Balassi, one-on-one with Lindelof. I think that's 3 times now he's had him one-on-one. Each time he's managed to get to the byline and get a cross in. Okay, he overhit that one. Sometimes when you've been out as long as he has, your final ball isn't right, but it's certainly an opportunity for Everton to get at Lindelof 1v1.
Shaw with the throw-in, deep inside United half, and then it's fed infield, and Herrera clears it over the halfway line, where Williams just heads it back to Pickford, the Everton goalkeeper. Again, we're sort of going from torrential rain to fairly light rain. It's unrelenting, that's for sure. It's not the best of evenings, though at least it's semi-mild here on Merseyside. 0-0 in terms of the game. Matic to Shaw for United, and back to Rojo, just outside his penalty, away to our right. And then it's on to Phil Jones, and Jones in to Matic. Matic halfway inside his own half, and there's a gap between 2 Everton players, so he just runs between it. Plays it, takes the return pass, and now it's over the halfway line with Herrera to Pogba. Into Shaw. Herrera once more. Movement upfield from Manchester United. Herrera gets the ball back. Passes to the left-hand side to Pogba. Instant control by Paul Pogba. And then he actually slipped on the ball there. He wasn't tackled. It drew huge laughs from Everton supporters. But he could have hurt himself quite badly there. He hasn't. Herrera for Manchester United. Seeing much of the possession at the moment in this game. 0-0 at Goodison Park. You're listening to 5 Live on the BBC. Pogba looked to slip the ball through to Lingard. Didn't reach Lingard. It was intercepted by Everton. And now on the far side, Martina, the left back, approaching the halfway line.
Sorry, I think Manchester United are starting to feel more and more comfortable in this game, though. That they're having more possession, and it's the position of the fullbacks that Luke Shaw and Lindelof are really pushing on high up the field when they get the ball. It's allowing Manutd and Lingard to come inside and find little pockets, and it's also pushing Everton's wide men really deep, and they find it much more difficult to counter-attack.
I think that was a good run by Davis. I thought he was actually caught there by Matic, but the referee, Andre Mariner, didn't agree, so he didn't award a free kick. It's only a throw-in on this near side of the field. Almost tripped up there, Davis. What's wonderful to me, having commentated on the game on Saturday, is Pogba's playing further forward for United tonight at Goodison. He was too deep, almost alongside Matic on Saturday.
Yeah.
Everton. Sorry.
Tonight they're playing as a 1 and a 2. Matic is sitting deep, and Herrera and Pogba are ahead of him, which is allowing them to get on the ball in much more advanced positions and also try and find pockets on the field.
Palassi crosses right-footed into the United box, headed away, runs almost to the halfway line. Now it's with Schneidlin, back to Rooney, and Rooney casts the ball forward, and now it's with Nias. Nias feeds it to the right-hand side, and Davis has been quite bright in these opening minutes. Davis into the penalty here. That's a sort of weak cross in low, easily cleared by Rojo towards the halfway line. Keane jumps, heads it away for Everton, but it's back with Manchester United. Martial challenged by Holgate. Holgate backheels the ball out of play for a United throw-in. Are you happy with Rooney playing quite this deep?
I think when Everton have the ball, it's good to see him coming and getting on it. I mean, Schneiderlin isn't going to start the play and make passes. Davis is more of a runner than a creator, and Everton do need someone in there to make the passes. But if that is going to be the case, then Balassi and Vlasic do need to play a lot closer to Nias at the moment. With Rooney playing deep, Nias and Vlasic are following the fullbacks. Nias is finding himself very, very isolated, and whether Everton push Rooney up a touch or ask their wide men to push up a touch, something's got to change.
Matic flicks the ball forward. The linesman on the far side kept his flag down. There was suspicion of offside for United. Then the shot driven in by Herrera. It was dipping, but not quickly enough for his liking, and it's over the crossbar.
Yeah, again, it's all a bit scrappy. I mean, it's a long ball coming forward. It's challenged for. The second ball is still competed for. Again, it goes into the air. Herrera ends up beating Rooney and getting a snapshot away. But
at both ends of the field, it's a little bit scrappy if we're seeing any chances. And you know, whether it's the weather, the wind, the conditions of the pitch, we're not quite seeing the football we'd probably expect.
11 minutes to half time on 5 Live. Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Everton played the ball forward, and it's just tapped in by Blažič, taken up by Holgate, then Blažič again, back to Schneiderlin, and Rooney's behind Schneiderlin, but he plays it successfully forward, and then Bolasie, his pass to Nias didn't collect the ball. In fact, I think he brought Matic down. It's going to be a free kick to Manchester United. Again, it's broken up very quickly, the game. You think there's a succession of passes and then there's something sloppy.
Well, I get the feeling, I mean, I emphasised before that Bolasie does seem to have the beating of Lindelof 1v1, but Everton aren't using him enough for my liking, and at the moment it's as if Everton aren't quite sure how they want to attack.
Here is Bolasie into Davis to the penalty. Davis' shot is half blocked, takes a deflection actually, and that almost went towards the goal. Finally cleared by Manchester United, high and out of play in the near side of the field. Everton fans encouraged.
Yeah, it's good play again, but it comes from another poor pass, a pass given away from Manchester United in the defensive third, and Everton pounced on it. Tom Davis got in behind the Phil Jones at the centre back position and had a shot on goal, but it's scrappy. It's coming from passes given away.
Good ball by Holgate though to Davis, and on now to Bolasie in the inside left channel, on to Martina, the left fullback, level with the edge of the United penalty. The cross wasn't good, cleared easily on the volley. Rooney brings it down with great control, and now to Martina again, back to Rooney. Rooney, I'm not exaggerating, he's over 50 yards from the goal, but he hits a crossfield ball. Holgate was up from right back, headed it towards the edge of the penalty area, cleared by Manchester United just for a second or two. Holgate again, crosses first time into the penalty area. Jones with a headed clearance, and then Schneiderlin jumped higher than Pogba, but it's cleared by Manchester United. Lingard towards Martial. Martial was more interested in getting a hand in the face of Williams. He went down thinking he's been fouled, he wasn't, and it's been cleared upfield into Manchester United's possession. Another goal at Aston Villa. John Akers.
2-0 Villa. Again, it was a cross from the left-hand side. Keeper made the initial save from Hogan's header again, and there was Robert Snodgrass on hand to hook it in with a close-range left-footed volley. Is bouncing here. 2-0 Villa lead Bristol City with 10 minutes to the break.
Jason Mohammed and Mark Lawrence are waiting in the studio for your calls. The number to call is 08085 909 693. No doubt reflecting on some important scorelines in the Premier League earlier. It finished Brighton 2, Bournemouth 2, Burnley 1, Liverpool 2, Leicester beat Huddersfield 3-0, and then Newcastle won 1-0 at Stoke. Pogba for Manchester United. Left foot shot, good save. Pickford definitely got a hand in that.
Well, it was
maybe it was a deflection.
No, it was from...
Either way, it's a corner.
It was serious distance, and Pogba's just gone at it with his left foot, struck it.
Actually, Pickford was nowhere near it.
No, he wasn't seen on the replay.
Thought it was a deflection off a defender.
He surprised everyone by how far he hit it from, but yeah, it went close.
Corner's taken. Back to Herrera. Herrera's shot. Cleared by the Everton defence. And on the far side is Bolasie. Bolasie with Nias running through the middle. Bolasie's around the defender. Bolasie around another defender. Bolasie now, prime position to get the cross in. Deep, too deep. And Manchester United will clear it easily.
Well, it's fantastic from Bolasie, one end to the other of the field, and he's beat Matic, he beat Rocco, came over, got to the byline, crossing the box, but the disappointing thing for Everton in the counter-attack, United had 7 men back in the box to Everton's 3. If Everton want to score, they've got to get people into the box quicker than that. Fantastic play from Bolasie, though.
Martina into Rooney, and then Rooney hits it towards Vlasic in the penalty, gets the header in, gets another opportunity to head the ball goalwards, but it's cleared by Manchester United. It's with Pogba, and again suddenly pace from United, the visitors. On to Martial. Martial approaching the penalty area, disappears momentarily behind the post, plays it to Herrera. Herrera's shot takes a deflection. That's a corner.
Yeah, very pacey attack from Manchester United. Pogba picked the ball up in the middle of the field, drove at Schneiderlin. Schneiderlin didn't know how to move his feet. He played in Martial out on the left. Martial cuts inside, played in Herrera, who had a shot, but Rooney blocked from about 20-22 yards, and United get a corner, but they look dangerous on the counter-attack.
6 minutes to half-time, still 0-0. United corner played in left-footed and well defended by Everton, or at least was well defended, but Davis gets it away to the far side of the field, side of play for a throw-in. You know, when they move to the new stadium, and we'll all love to see that happen, it's overdue for a great football club, Everton, but I hope they take this pillar with them. It's been such an obstruction over 35 years of my commentating. I'd hate to miss it. I'd be waking up in the middle of the night saying, where is the pillar?
It's only bothered me for the last 6 months.
Now, Holgate, run from the right, crosses low, too close to the goalkeeper, easy for De Gea.
Yeah, good build-up from Everton, getting the ball out wide to Holgate. Well, you know, it's a poor ball. It's the cross of a centre-half who's playing full-back. It was just rolled into the area, very easy for De Gea to pick up, and an opportunity missed for Everton.
Lingard from Manchester United, back to Herrera, and on to Shaw. 5 minutes to go to half-time and 5 live. Still, Everton 0, Manchester United 0. Aston Villa lead Bristol City 2-0 in the Championship. Herrera to Matic. A good pass on by Matic, under pressure to the far side to Lindelof, and now Mata to the right of the Everton penalty area. Mata looking infield, sees the run forward of Herrera, passes the ball to Herrera. Oh, was that a handball? Oh, they certainly thought that. I think the offender, if there was one, would have been King, but referee doesn't give anything. It's cleared upfield by Everton. Jones plays it back to De Gea. Awkward for De Gea to take, but he's confident with his passing ability. Passes to Jones and cleared up by Rojo to Pogba, and Pogba finds Lingard with a little bit of room. Lingard has made 30 yards and then shoots wide. Wasted opportunity.
Yeah, he was found in a great little pocket on the halfway line, in behind Schneiderlin. He turned, he started to drive at Everton's back four. He had Martial one side, Mata the other side. I didn't quite think Martial did enough to make him pass. His run was more wanting it to feet rather than driving to get in behind Everton. As it was, by the time he got to the edge of the box, Lindelof decided to have a shot, and unfortunately for Manchester United, he just pulled it wide. But it started from a great position. He took up in the middle of the field. Lingard, I'm saying Lingard.
Lingard, yes. But it's probably me, you know, putting you off the United player, which is spelt Lindelof, but I'm categorically assured that the pronunciation is Lindelof.
Well, it was
where they get it from, I do not know.
It was Lingard I struggled with, but it was Lingard.
That's what the pronunciation unit said. Now, Holgate. Yeah, he's definitely Holgate. Holgate onto Nias. Nias, though, is just near the right touchline. Finds Holgate again. Holgate into Vlasic. Lovely turn by Vlasic. Holgate had the ball, tried to cross it, mishit it left-footed, and it's cleared by Manchester United. And now here's an opportunity for Martial with Lingard to his right. And, well, the tackle came in from Rooney. It's a foul tackle. That's a free kick. There might be a booking. Yes.
Yeah, it was an obvious booking. It was good tracking back. What happened was Michael Keane just tried to nick in front of Martial on the halfway line to win the ball. Martial turned him, and then he was 1v1 with Williams. As it was, Wayne Rooney managed to get across the field, make the tackle, and it was a similar type tackle to the one on Kevin De Bruyne yesterday by punching, except that Wayne Rooney wasn't as dangerous. That's the way to bring someone down without hurting them.
Yeah.
I thought the tackle yesterday was over the top.
As Puncheon's challenge. Goodness gracious. Mata with a free kick for Manchester United. 2 minutes left in the first half. I can't think of any stoppages so far, so we may not need added time. Mata left-footed. Oh, underhits it. Headed away by Keane. Brought down by Mata. Now it's with Jones in the centre circle. And he's not happy that no one had given him options to pass to, so he played it all the way back to De Gea. De Gea hits it upfield. Little nudge by Holgate on Lingard, and the ball's out of play for a throw-in to Everton. Well, I'm beginning to worry about the absence of goals. There actually haven't been that many chances, have there, Liam?
No, especially clear-cut. There's been a couple of opportunities, half chances you'd say, but there hasn't been a chance where, you know, has really been missed that we'd expect to have scored a goal. And I think, you know, we've seen a lot of nil-nils lately, and this is looking at the moment like it's going to be another one.
Yeah. Now Lingard, having fouled Schneiderlin, you know, a minute or so after Rooney was booked, and that was quite deliberate by Lingard. There was an argument the referee should have booked the United player.
Yeah, I mean,
he's pulling him back.
Potentially, but I think it's on the halfway line. There's a lot of field to go. I think he did make an honest attempt for the ball. I don't think every foul is a booking these days, but obviously when one team's just had a booking, the fans like the other team book too.
All right, Manchester United forward. Lingard steps away from Rooney, who couldn't bring him down, having just been booked. The attack continues. Cleared though by Everton. Herrera to Mata. Back to Herrera inside the final minute of the first half. And it's back to Rojo on the halfway line. To Pogba, the United captain. Pogba, 35 yards from goal. Well, he actually shot there. Easily cleared by Everton. Good work by Nias initially, and on by Rooney to the far side. It's Martina, who's got Balassi just ahead of him. Balassi moves in field, offering the pass, but it went instead to Nias, who lost control, and it's with United again through Matic. We've got 1 minute of added time. Can't think of any hold up in the first half to justify the minute that's been added on, but there's the minute. Pogba forward, takes a return pass from Lingard, and it goes to Martial, and Martial to Lingard. Loose pass from Martial again. Too many loose passes from both teams tonight.
It's been the story of the first half so far. Loose passes and counter-attacks, and that's when both teams look dangerous.
Martina to the left side, and Balassi on to Nias. Nias being hustled by Jones. Not only hustled by Jones, fouled by Jones. And it's a free kick for Everton, and this will be the last meaningful action before the referee blows his whistle for half-time. And Everton need to get on with it. Referee looking at his watch, but maybe he won't blow before this quote free kick is concluded. We've had our minute of added time. We still wait for the free kick. Now it's played into the penalty area towards Nias. Nias miscontrols it. It's cleared by United, and there is the half-time whistle. Your thoughts, Leon Osmond?
Yeah, I think it's been a story of misplaced passes and counter-attack football in the first half. That's when both teams have looked dangerous, when they've pounced on opposition's bad passes. I think Balassi's looked dangerous for Everton at times. I think Pogba has looked lively for Manchester United, but both teams don't really know how to attack when they're set up against a back four, and it's led to Pogba having shots from 40 yards and Rooney with crossfield passes, but no meaningful action in the penalty area. And I think both managers will try and look at that to improve in the second half.
Half-time, it's 0-0 at Goodison Park, and for the moment, Jason.
Yes, Alan Green, Happy New Year to you, and a Happy New Year to you, Leon. And I wouldn't mind asking you, Leon, whether you've seen a different Manchester United in the first 45 minutes, 3 draws on the bounce?
I don't think so. I think we're seeing Manchester United not quite sure how to score goals at the moment. They're great in possession, they're getting up to the last third, but as with Everton as well this evening, when they get there, they don't know whether to go wide and cross the ball, and if they do, they've got no men in the box. They don't know whether to look for a slip pass, and if they do, they haven't got many men wide, which is meaning the opposition can defend narrow. And there's just a little bit of uncertainty about how to break teams down, and I think you're seeing that now, and you're seeing that in the last few games for Manchester United.
Thank you very much indeed then for the moment to Leon and to Alan. Back to Goodison Park very, very shortly. So for today in the Premier League, it finished Brighton 2, Bournemouth 2 in the lunchtime kickoff. Stoke City 0, Newcastle United 1, Burnley 1, Liverpool 2, Leicester City 3, Huddersfield Town 0. Big result at Stoke City today. We'll hear from Mark Hughes in the next few minutes. So Stoke fans, give us a call tonight on 606. Number to call 08085 909 693. Hughes says he's still the best man for the job. What do you say? 16 games now unbeaten for Liverpool. Can you be the side that chases Manchester City down? And also, how many players short are you from challenging Manchester City for the title in the seasons to come? Number to call tonight 08085 909 693. Let's also hear from Newcastle United fans as well. Fantastic result for you today and to Rafa Benitez. It's half time in the game in the Championship. John Akers.
Bristol City have been really good, but they've not been anything to match Aston Villa, Jason. Aston Villa 2, Bristol City 0. Bristol City started the better, but Villa have been well worth it. Most of the danger coming down the Villa left. Adoma with 2 delicious crosses, which have led to both goals. Scott Hogan heading in the first for his first league goal since March, and then Snodgrass following up from another Hogan header. It was saved by Steele, and there was Snodgrass a couple of yards out to hook it in left-footed. Right at the end of the half, Jack Grealish hit the post with a left foot shot from 20 yards. Bristol City have had a few efforts from outside the penalty area, but they've just not been able to live with Villa. Villa 2, Bristol City 0 at half-time.
Thank you, John. Derby County missed the chance to keep up the pressure on the leaders Wolves, held at home by Sheffield United. Cardiff City lost 2-1 at Queen's Park Rangers after taking the lead. Leeds United drew 0-0 at home to managerless Nottingham Forest. Tony Pulis' Middlesbrough came from behind to win 3-2 at Preston. At the bottom, great result for Burton, winning 3-0 at Sheffield Wednesday. Another managerless team, and Bolton beat Hull 1-0. Barnsley won 1-0 at Sunderland. Chris Coleman now back into the bottom 3. So we're on air straight after the game at Goodison Park, taking your calls, 08085 909 693. But we'll take some now as well. We've got David on the line, who's a Newcastle United fan. We'll talk to David after the latest BBC News with Lee Stott.
More live Premier League football than anyone else. This is BBC 5 Live.
4 young men have been stabbed to death in London over the new year. 3 died yesterday, a 4th in the early hours of this morning. Detectives say they're unrelated. Commander Neil Jerome is from the Metropolitan Police.
Tragically, there are 4 families who awake this morning to the heartbreaking news that they've lost loved ones to the callous use of knives as lethal weapons. Our detectives are working tirelessly today and going forward to bring those who've committed these murders to justice.
A 31-year-old man's been arrested on suspicion of murdering a woman who went missing on Christmas Eve. Juliana Tudos, who was 22, was found with a stab wound and head injury in Finsbury Park in North London on Wednesday. Chuka Amuna says the deaths of 5 British people in a seaplane crash near Sydney is horrific. They've been identified as leading UK businessman Richard Cousins and 4 members of his family, including his son Will, who campaigned with the group Open Britain alongside the Labour MP. The Mayor of Liverpool has thanked hotels and their staff for helping so many people who were left stranded after a fire at a car park. Up to 1,400 vehicles were destroyed in the multi-storey next to the Echo Arena last night. And the Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has played down anti-government protests across the country, saying they were nothing. State media says 10 people died in the demonstrations overnight.
Get more from BBC 5 Live with 5 Live Podcasts.
More news.
Hello and welcome to Headliners.
Good day, Brexit casters.
This is Eye of the Storm. This episode is a little bit different.
More sport.
Hello, I'm Mark Chapman. Welcome to the 5 Live Football Daily.
Welcome to Rugby in a Weekly.
Welcome to Tail Enders.
It is very odd, but yeah, nice to be here.
More 5 Live.
This is Bunce's Tales of the Extraordinary.
Kermit and Mayer's Film Review.
Award-winning podcast.
This is Fighting Talk.
Search 5 Live in your podcast app.
Oh my word.
A couple
we
of
won an
points.
award for this rubbish.
Get more from BBC 5 Live.
So, a very good evening to you. Mark Lawrenson and I taking your calls on 606 after the game at Goodison tonight. But we'll take your calls if you want to give us a ring now. 08085 909 693. Stoke City fans, I bet you are standing by, waiting to pick up the phone and have your say on Mark Hughes. Stoke City making 6 changes to the team that lost 5-0 to Chelsea on Saturday, but still lost 1-0 at home to Newcastle to put more pressure on Mark Hughes.
Yeah, we can't just sit back and feel sorry for ourselves. We got ourselves in a situation, a little bit of our own making, you have to say, but on the reverse of that, obviously we were not getting too much luck in terms of general play. We've had opportunities there, things cleared off the line, goalkeepers made great saves, and we get done on a counter-attack after basically trying to break down a Newcastle wall all afternoon. We lost the game. We've allowed obviously people who want to criticise to have that opportunity, and we have to take it on the chin, because that's how we find ourselves and the position we find ourselves in. But we just got to pick ourselves up and go again.
I know you've got a good relationship with Peter Coates and his son John. Presumably you sat them down and told them all what your thoughts were about the permutation of selections before the Chelsea game and looking forward to the Newcastle game as well.
Yes, well, that's the beauty of the ownership of this club. They're fully informed. They're present. They're not absent owners. They understand exactly what the difficulties are leading into games at times, and the injury problems and the situation within the squad. So they're kept fully informed. So that makes them obviously better in terms of the judgments that they have to make.
And they're not sacking owners, are they?
They haven't been. Why wouldn't they have been? Previous manager to me did a good job. I've given them the best times they've had in the Premier League, so they're very loyal people. I would expect, obviously, for them to remain loyal, because I think we deserve that. We've given them a lot, and we'll continue to work to the best of our ability. I'm the same manager that got them 3 top 10 finishes in my first 3 years. I haven't changed my philosophy. I haven't changed the way I work on a day-to-day basis. This year's a little bit more of a struggle, but we've got the talent to do it.
Don't want to put words into your mouth. Presumably you're saying, therefore, Mark, you're the best man for the job.
Correct.
Yeah, sounds like that, doesn't it? Stoke City fans, how do you see it? 08085 909 693. Give us a call now and we'll get you on the air at half time. Right, so Mark Hughes talking to Pat Murphy. Let's talk to David, who's a Newcastle United fan. Good evening, David.
Hello.
Hello, nice to have you. So, were you at the game today?
I certainly was, yeah. I was sat with a Stoke fan in the Stoke stand, but I'm a Newcastle supporter myself.
Right, okay. And what was the atmosphere like?
It was an incredibly tense, incredibly strange atmosphere, especially sat quite close to the Newcastle fans' end. Basically, obviously, I'm there with people who go there, who season ticket holders, week in, week out. I've been mainly away because of where I live to see Newcastle at West Brom and Burnley and now Stoke. But there was a couple of massive moments during the match while Shaqiri especially, he didn't even burst into a sprint. He was just jogging down the line at one point, and a supporter shouted to Mark Hughes to say, "Is he playing right back?" And he turned around to the fan and actually said, "Yes, it looks like he is. Have a word with him." To which the fan's reaction was, "You're the manager. You should be having a word with him." It was extremely tense.
That is incredible. Tense. That is unbelievable. Yeah. And David, I'll come on to Newcastle in just a moment, but if I can just ask you, from where you were today, does it look like Stoke City's players are playing for Mark Hughes?
No. Even when the changes came, I mean, I'm a Newcastle fan first, but I do follow football. You've got players that have come on in terms of Diouf, Choupo-Moting played very well. Charlie Adam gave his all for the team, and young lad Edwards at right back played well for Stoke. Apart from that, most of the other players, they looked like they were at a New Year's Eve party still, to be honest.
Yeah. And what about at the end? Because on television, we were showing pictures of fans holding up Mark Hughes banners and booing. Was it that loud? Are they completely and utterly bereft of any hope for Mark Hughes now, the Stoke City fans?
Well, there were a majority of fans that were leaving at about 80 minutes. And all they were saying, they were shaking their heads, and all they were saying was that this is the end. This is, we're going to get relegated. And they'd lost hope by that point. The fans that did stay, that did support the team and believed in the team, unfortunately, they seem like they've lost their hope as well. The one thing I would say, I've watched football for 25 years, and when Newcastle went 1-0 up, the Newcastle fans, being the Newcastle fans, obviously were chanting, "You're getting sacked in the morning" to Hughes, and the Stoke fans joined in. So
it sounds like they've made their minds up.
From the stand, definitely, yeah.
But good win for Newcastle.
Oh, yes. Again, I would say we got lucky. I mean, Kieran Clark missed an open header, in the first half. We should have been 1-0 up by half-time, but we weren't. But we did work hard as a team, and we got the result, and we need that ourselves, obviously, to stay up, really.
Do you think you should have had a penalty as well? Dwight Gale appeared to be pushed, didn't he, by Kurt Zouma?
That was just in front of me, actually. And to be honest, I think the linesman just got it right. There was contact, but it looked more 50-50 where I was sat, and you could see before he took the throw in as well, the linesman explaining to Gale about the situation and how he saw it. I think he may have just got that right.
Good to talk to you, David. Thank you very much indeed. Not very often we get a view from the home side and the away side. Thank you very much indeed. Very nice to talk to you, David. Aaron is a Manchester United fan. Hi, Aaron.
Hello, Happy New Year, Jason.
Happy New Year to you, Aaron.
I'm sure you said just before the news, how many players does Liverpool need to win to challenge Man
Challenge City, yeah.
Man United need 4 or 5 players to challenge Man City next year. The problem is, in January, you can't offload players not very easily from the big clubs. Leon Osman got it correctly on the radio tonight. Loose passes, Martial, Rashford, they're not strikers, they're wingers. Do you know what I mean? They're wingers, they're not natural strikers. Fortunately, you can't spend more than 300 million, 400 million on teams now. I can't see, really, I think it's going to be a draw the second half, if you want to be honest. I can't see much improvement. 4th draw on the trot. Struggling, I'd say. But I don't want to get rid of Jose Mourinho like as Robbie Savage got it on Saturday. I don't want to get him out. Jose's the right man for the job. Giving him time, he'll do what he liked to say, 2 trophies last year. You know what I mean? He's doing fine, but the problem is he's got too much dead words, and in January they're going to struggle to offload him.
If you had your chance, right, how many of the players who are in that squad right now, Aaron, you could write down on a piece of paper that you would get rid of?
What, in the team?
In the squad, because clearly the squad is not good enough to challenge for the Premier League title. So which players would you get rid of?
Out of the starting 11,
yeah.
Lindelof's not a right back.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
But no, are you saying? I'm talking about which players, because in order to bring players in, you've got to get them out. So which players? Which players would you? I'm talking about getting rid of. Forget moving around.
No, I'm on about getting rid of in general.
So Lindelof, yeah.
Fellaini, Mkhitaryan. I'm sorry, Valencia. He's done a good service to our team, but he's getting on. Same with Ashley Young. Like say, the silly thing against at the weekend with the elbow is just, it's not good enough, if you want me. He has no faith in Luke Shaw. There's at least 5 players.
Well, I've written down 5 or 6 there already. You haven't even got to Ander Herrera or Jesse Lingard yet. Would you get rid of those?
The problem is you can't get rid of everyone. Who are you going to bring in to replace them? That's the problem. Zlatan's not 36. How much more are you going to keep faith in him? The problem is you're going to have to spend another 100 million to get to replace these players. Like I say, unfortunately, I've got Seamus Coleman at right back, but fortunately, he's been injured for so long.
But have you got every faith in Jose? I'm just watching pictures now, right? And this perhaps sums it up, right? I'm looking at pictures now of Jose Mourinho who's having a selfie with what looks like an Everton fan, right? He's come up for the second half, and he's sitting down now. He gets up, he has a photo taken. He doesn't even smile for the selfie. Is he happy?
That's Jose altogether, though, isn't it?
But is he happy? Is this the job he wants to be doing, Aaron?
If you get rid of him, who are you going to bring in? Like the corner on Saturday. Go get Jurgen Löw from Germany. No chance.
Yeah, but that's because, as we said on Saturday night, Jurgen Löw has signed an extension on his contract as Germany manager as well. But I mean, you look at his demeanour, you look at his face right now, and the cameras are trained on him now. You'll see this on Match of the Day, and he just looks utterly miserable. Thank you very much indeed, Aaron. 08085 909 693. Manchester United fans, let's hear from you tonight. 85058 on the text if you want to text us, and you can email us. But we will go back to Goodison very, very shortly. But let's get some reaction now from the game at lunchtime. The early game of the day saw Brighton and Bournemouth battle to a very enjoyable 2-2 draw. Bournemouth's equaliser from Callum Wilson was late and scrappy. Let's hear from their manager, Chris Hughton.
Hugely disappointing at the moment. We spoke about the areas of our game that we needed to address, giving ourselves an opportunity to score more goals, to be more creative, and then what became at times a fairly open game against a very good Bournemouth side that have got a lot of power and pace in the side. I thought some of our attacking play was really good, but certainly on chances and what you regard as clear-cut chances, we had by far the better of the clear-cut chances. So to come in here at 2-2, having led twice, having the best chances, hugely disappointing, and it absolutely feels like 2 points lost. Their second goal is a fortuitous one. It can happen. A lot of rebounds and deflections, and a real fortunate goal for them. So it can happen. Their first goal is the most disappointing one.
So Chris Hughton disappointed. For Eddie Howe, very pleased at the end of 4 festive games.
I think when you look back at the West Ham game, frustrated we didn't win that. And I think today I'm frustrated, ultimately we didn't win it.
Next best thing is not to lose it. So yeah, I think whenever you don't win games and you're picking up draws, I think you always think you could go one more. But I think we have to be satisfied with the 5 points, and I think we have to be satisfied with the performances, because they've been the key thing. There's been a real upturn there, and I think if we continue to play that way, we will pick up a lot more points. I think this year's been more games than I've ever known in a short period of time at this level. Probably for my players, yeah, probably one too many. I felt this schedule of games has really taken its toll on our guys, injury-wise and mentally, physically. And I think you could see maybe today a little bit of lack of quality due to the fatigue of the players, and I don't think anyone wants to see that.
And the goal, I mean, a lot of people were matching it on Match of the Day tomorrow night laughing, but Callum Wilson's just said to me it's striker's instinct. Or you said it's pure luck or striker's instinct, and agree with him?
No, I think it's striker's instinct. I think it won't be one for the purists. No one's going to replay that too many times. But for us, it's an absolutely priceless goal, and Callum's got that knack. He's in the right place at the right time, as he was today.
As he was on Saturday as well. And a quick reminder, Match of the Day is on tomorrow night. So tomorrow, because there are lots of other games that you can hear on 5 Live tomorrow evening. Swansea City taking on Tottenham Hotspur. Right then, if you want to give us a call, it's 08085 909 693. Let's take you back to Goodison, Alan Green and Leon Osman.
We apologise for the late start to the second half in terms of the commentary, Jason. Technical problems. We didn't have any electricity supply. So Leon Osman obviously brings batteries with him wherever he goes.
Well, I was talking to the callers, so I was more than happy to keep going and just give you goal flashes. I've been doing goal flashes all afternoon on the telly.
Oh, well done, mate. Well done. Anyway, there was one considerable flash that we did miss. It was a shot by Mata, which was very well tipped over by Pickford. But it's still Everton 0, Manchester United 0. We played 2.5 minutes in the second half. No changes to either 11. I'll run through the 11s now, actually. Everton's goalkeeper is Pickford. The defence is Holgate, Keane, Williams and Martina. Then we got Schneiderlin, Davis, Rooney, Vlasic, Balassi and Nias. Manchester United's keeper is De Gea. Their defence, Rojo, Lindelöf, Jones and Shaw. Then Pogba and Matic. Then finally Mata, Lingard, Martial and Herrera. Manchester United in red shirts attacking the park end of Goodison Park, and the ball, some other people rather late into their seats standing up in the VIP area in front of us, partly obscures our vision. It's cleared by Everton though, well controlled by Pogba, the Manchester United captain. Pogba finds Rojo, and everybody bar De Gea is inside the Everton half at the moment. It's with Martial leaving it on the far side of the field, taken up by Lingard. Lingard, faced by Davis, plays it to Mata, who's gone closer than anybody to scoring with that early shot in the second half. Now it's Martial, back to Herrera. United probing, searching for the first goal of the evening. It's to Jones, who's midway inside the opposition half. Jones to the right side, Lindelöf. Back to Herrera. And then to Mata. The pass is a little short for the Spaniard, from the Spaniard. Everton intercept. And now it should be cleared, and it is cleared to Balassi, deep inside his own half, near the penalty area. And finally Pickford smashes it towards United territory for a change. So that was a push by Nias, according to the referee, Andre Mariner, and it's a free kick.
Well, United certainly looked like they meant business at the start of the second half. They've come out, they've been in Everton's half, they've had a shot, they've had a half chance. But Everton just decided to drop into what looked like a back six, and United was so passive then with the possession. They were just moving from side to side, static. Nobody was making runs. They didn't want to cross it. Martial came out deep, so no one was occupying the centre halves, and they're just allowing the game to go on at the moment. They're not making that opportunity. No one's running at 1v1, no one's playing a crossfield pass, no one's making a diagonal run to influence the game. Everyone's just allowing the game to go on, and that's got to change.
It's been a disappointing spectacle so far at Goodison Park tonight. Driven though by Rojo. That's an excellent pass to Mata. Mata back to Herrera, halfway inside the Everton half. Forward to Mata. Mata's just left, but goodness gracious, it's the outside of the post. Pickford was beaten.
That's much better. A good bit of play. Crossfield pass, a 1-2, sharp play. Mata got himself involved, turned, and from 25 yards, no pressure on him, decided to have a shot, took the onus on himself, and he was half an inch from from the opening goal. It was a fantastic strike, and even at full stretch, Pickford was not close to it.
Matt is such a good player.
It's much better though, taking the ball on, taking the opportunity, deciding that he's going to be the person to make something happen, and he nearly did on this occasion.
The line's still open for 6:06, which will follow the conclusion to the commentary here. The number to call is 080 85 909 693. Obviously reflecting on games outside the Premier League today, but particularly on this one, Everton 0, Manchester United 0, and the earlier results: Brighton 2, Bournemouth 2, Burnley 1, Liverpool 2, Leicester 3, Huddersfield 0, and Stoke 0, Newcastle 1. Rojo for Manchester United in the centre of defence. Lindelof has been playing it right back tonight, finding Pogba. Pogba faced by Davis, just turns away from the Everton midfield player, plays it to Herrera, and then it's on to Lindelof. Lindelof back to Mata. Twice he's come close to opening the score. Flicks the ball into the Everton penalty area. It was well defended out by Everton. Cleared upfield, Niasse is on his own note. Davis is 50 yards behind him. The only support.
Well, at
the
moment, United have pinned Everton so far back. At times they're a back seven. The back four, Schneiderlin's dropped in between the centre halves. Vlasic and Balassi are all the way back marking the wide man, and it's given United so much space in the middle of the park. Niasse is so isolated for Everton that they need to figure out a way to counter that, what Manchester United are doing at the moment.
Lingard finds Shaw on the far side of the field. Then it's played forward again to Shaw. Shaw drives it in low. Pickford got a hand to the ball, but he was challenged at the same time by Herrera. It's a fair challenge, and the ball squirts out of play off the Everton goalkeeper for a throw into Manchester United. Front of the United fans in that far right hand corner. Oh, I think Pogba's offside. He is. And it's a free kick to Everton.
It was great play from Manchester United. As I said again, the full-backs of United are so high. Luke Shaw on that side. The pressure and the possession that they're now allowed to have in the middle of the park, outnumbering Everton, led to Shaw making a dive in behind Vlasic, gets played, flashes it across the face of the goal, and it was a fantastic clearance from Martina. Pickford was full stretch, couldn't get there, and it was nearly a tap in for a Herrera, but much better from Manchester United as an attacking force in the second half.
Far more threatening United. But Everton get the ball into the United half for a change, and it's the former United captain Rooney who plays it to the right. The cross early into the penalty area, but a couple of bounces. I think it's going to go out of play. Oh, it's somehow kept in play by Balassi, but now Manchester United on the counter-attack here. Lindelof forward to Martial, back to Mata. Mata had expected Martial to keep running forward, but he didn't. So Mata turns in field, plays the ball to his left to Matic. On it goes to Shaw on the far side of the field. Much better football at the start of the second half, albeit it's all coming from Manchester United. Now Shaw. Look how many players United have got inside the Everton half, all bar De Gea. And that was a beautiful one too, played by Pogba. Pogba plays it in low into the 6-yard box, hoping to find Martial's boot. He didn't find it, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Well, Everton are all over the place at the moment. They can't get close to Manchester United again. They're being so deep as a back unit that allowing United to get a run of speed up before they arrive. So by the time Pogba arrives at Everton's back four, he's at full speed. Everton can't stop the 1-2s. Great play, got him behind, flashed it across the face of the goal, and United just needed an extra body in there to tap it in at the back post. But if things go the way they're going, it won't be long before United score the first goal.
Leon Osman, I think, is absolutely correct in his observation there. Manchester United looked much the better team in this second half. You forget about the first 45 minutes. The only note I made was that Rooney was booked. Nothing else seemed to register. Now, United come forward again. Mata, back to Matic, and taken up by Lingard, just to the right of the centre circle. Much more energy, greater acceleration from the visiting side in this second half. Now Mata to Martial. Mata sprints forward. The ball goes to the left though to Pogba. Pogba into Lingard. Inside left channel for him. Finding Herrera. Back to Matic, who does like a shot. Though that's a great ball into the penalty. Vital header by Keane for Everton. Gets the ball back to Pickford.
Oh, that was unlucky. It was a good bit of sharp play from Manchester United again, but it comes from someone prepared to make a run in behind the opposition centre half. Lingard makes the run. Matic nearly put a fantastic pass on his toes. but Everton get away with it.
We'll go to Villa in just a moment, but Everton are on a rare attack in this second half. Ball played into Nias, wide to Balassi, and Balassi swings the cross in right-footed, headed away by Manchester United. Balls to Rooney. Half done of a shot there. He was waiting for a colleague, instead he gave the ball away to Herrera. Let's go to Villa Park and John Akers.
Aston Villa 2, Bristol City 0. We've had around about 10 minutes of the second half, same as you, Alan, but Bristol City should have one back. Two players got in each other's way, Flint and Patterson from 2 yards out.
Goal at Goodison to Manchester United. The ball played in by Pogba, and it was a delicious shot by Martial, swinging it inside the far post as he was looking at it. Pickford clawed at the air, couldn't get there. It's 1-0 to Manchester United, and on the second half evidence, well deserved.
Yeah, the goal's been coming, and it came from the players you'd most expect at the moment. Pogba getting up the left side, running at the Everton back forward pace. They dropped again. He cuts inside, passed it into Martial inside the D on the edge of Everton's area, and he had so much time and space to take a touch, open his body up, and put it over Pickford in the top corner. And you know, you can't say it hasn't been coming for Manchester United. They've been by far the better team in the start of the second half. Everton are far too deep, and Sam Allardyce needs to find the answer.
They have to rethink the way his side has been set up since half-time. Mind you, to be fair to them, it's just the way United have been playing, forcing Everton back.
It is, but I think what Everton's back four are allowing, they're allowing Balassi and Vlasic to come back and do a job unnecessarily. They've got to be braver at times, instead of them coming all the way back and coming so deep. Take the onus on. May say the left back Martina needs to say to Balassi, go on, I'll take him, you get up and threaten the opposition. And at the moment they're allowing United to come further and further on as Everton get deeper and deeper.
Here's Pogba on the halfway line, delicious ball towards the left side towards Shaw. Vlasic gets there first. Vlasic did really well, heads the ball clear, brings it under control, passes forward to Davis, and Davis gets a little nudge over by Pogba, and it's a free kick. Wasn't much of a nudge from Pogba, but Davis went down. Free kick taken for Everton. Rooney plays it on to Martina, back to Rooney, and Rooney glides the ball to the right hand side, where Holgate miscontrolled it, taken off it and cleared by Shaw. And clever play by Pogba. He used his body strength to hold off that challenge from Schneiderlin. Pogba onto Herrera. Well, I don't know who collided with whom there, but the referee also went down, Andre Mariner, and he's given a free kick to Manchester United.
I think he's blown for a foul on himself. I'm not too sure, to be honest. He's cut inside. I think it was Herrera went down, the referee went down, Rooney went down, and I think somehow Bolassi's given a free kick away.
Well, I haven't a clue.
Area.
Because of the electricity shortage at Goodison at the moment, we don't have a monitor, so I can't tell you what happened, but it was wonderful to see Andre Mariner being clattered into and then awarding a free kick in whichever direction he felt necessary.
Yeah, I'm certain it was for a foul on himself. I think he's just a bit embarrassed about what just happened there and decided it was a definite foul. So, but we're away again.
We are away. Manchester United leading by a goal to nil, deservedly so in this second half. Here's Lingard in towards Pogba. Wasn't a good ball from Lingard, but Martina, he was denied instruction from Pickford, and he just put the ball out of play for a throw-in.
Well, as I said, Everton just can't get near Manchester United, despite the over numbers they've got back. United still had an overlap if Lingard would have picked out Martial. Instead, he tried to come back to this side of the field to Mata, and the chance went begging.
Here's Matic coming forward. Matic to Lingard. Lingard steps away from Davis, shoots, takes a deflection off a defender, and that's behind for a corner.
Yeah, Jesse Lingard's really stepped up his play in the second half. He was good in the first half, but he chose the wrong option or just made a bad pass. He's been excellent in this second half. He's really sharp in possession. Everton can't get near him. He's picking out passes, albeit the wrong one last time, getting shots away when he can, and he's a real thorn in Everton's side at the moment.
It makes for painful viewing for the Evertonians inside Goodison Park. Manchester United so much in control since half-time. The corner was taken short by Mata. And now here's Herrera coming forward. Herrera holding off the Everton player. Crosses into the penalty area. Keane heads it away. Drops to the red shirts of Manchester United. Rojo to Pogba on the far side. Pogba on that left flank in the second period has wreaked havoc. Plays it to Matic. Back to Pogba. on his right foot. Slipped the ball in, no one marking Lingard. Lingard back towards Martial, cleared by Williams. But Everton are just being pummeled at the moment. Here's Mata, back to Pogba. It's a renewed Manchester United since half-time. De Martial, a foot outside the penalty area. To Pogba inside the penalty area. Steps away from two challenges. Flicks the ball to his left. There's the cross. Rojo jumps. Goodness, it was a firm challenge on Rojo, but I think the assistant's already flagged on the near side of the field that the ball actually crossed the goal line before the cross came in. Rojo fell very awkwardly there.
He did, but it's the same players causing the problems at the moment for Manchester United. It's Lingard and Pogba have been fantastic. They're getting in faces, they're getting in pockets. Everton can't get near them. Everton look all over the place at the moment, and Sam Allardyce is rightly making substitutions to try and find an answer to the problem.
Well, Wayne Rooney's been taken off. That's one of the changes. And let's go to Aston Villa. John Akers.
Goal for Aston Villa. They'll be up to 5th, it looks like, by the end of this one. It's 3-0. Bristol City have no answer for it at the moment. On the break, Grealish to Snodgrass for his second of the game. Coolly taken left-footed. Villa 3, Bristol City 0.
Right. The changes made by Sam Allardyce. Lennon and McCarthy come on, replacing Balassi and Rooney. Rooney's just been bypassed in this second half. So different in Manchester United, his old club.
Yeah,
leading 1-0.
You know, I can understand Balassi, as good as he...
It's played upfield. Martial chases after it. Pickford out of his penalty area, and he slashes the ball away into the United fans to his right.
As good as Balassi has been and a threat in this game, he's just coming back from injury. He's been a long time out. He wasn't going to last the whole game. But I am surprised about the Rooney one. Rooney's got a moment of class in him. He's got that pass to open up the opposition if Everton can get him on the ball. And as it be, they took him off and put a more workman-like player in the middle of the field in James McCarthy.
Oh, here's Pogba slipping between two Everton defenders into the penalty. Pogba shoots, good save, Pickford.
Well, I said earlier in the game, I don't think we'd seen Pogba back to his best since he come back from suspension and injury, but I'm pretty sure we're seeing it in this second half. He's running at people, he's doing step overs, he's cutting inside, he's using his strength. With everything he's built up to be, he's showing in this second half, and it's fantastic to watch. And you know, you'd think he's going to score in a moment. He's been that good.
Yeah, corner taken short for United, down their left flank in front of their supporters, and now Matic feeds the ball into the penalty area. Davis knocks it away. Back come Manchester United, hooking it down the left side. Lingard brings it under control, and those United supporters behind Lingard must be relishing these opening 19 minutes in the second half. Davis gets a tackle in for Everton, clears it, but only into Manchester United's possession again. Matic. Completely different Manchester United since half-time. And Everton, frankly, look feeble in response. United on the attack, down the far side, played in towards Mata. Mata tackled, fairly tackled. Lost the ball to Williams, and now taken up by Martina. Lennon's on the left side for Everton. Back it goes to Williams. It's hard to see Everton getting back into this game, and certainly not with a clearance like that, straight to a red shirt. Now, it's into the penalty. Goodness gracious, good run by Martial, into Pogba. Pogba's header wide, so wide it's going for a throw-in.
Oh, I don't know if he just couldn't quite reach it, but again, it was fantastic play. The ball given away very sloppily by Ashley Williams, trying to cross-field pass. Ends up Matt again in the pocket, passes it wide to Martial. He beats Michael Keane to the touchline, crosses it, and you just expected Pogba to nod it into the back of the goal. As it happens, he didn't quite get enough on it, and it goes all the way through for the throw into Everton. But United look so dangerous at the moment, and Everton don't need to give them opportunities like that.
As a commentator, I was just about to say 2-0. You know, I was certain that Pogba was going to head into the net.
Well, United look dangerous as an attacking force in general this second half, which we haven't seen for a number of weeks. And you know, for Everton to give them the ball away like that just helps them do it.
Mata on towards Martial, intercepted by Keane. Keane clears the ball to Lennon. Lennon doesn't bring it under control, and it's back with Lindelof, the right full-back tonight for Manchester United. He exchanges passes with Matic and then plays it back to De Gea. He'll be getting a cold in that penalty area way to the left. Such is the lack of action needed for the United goalkeeper in this second half, of which we've had 20 minutes. United lead 1-0. Doesn't flatter them. Mata flicking the ball on. Lingard chased after it, but well, it's Martino who got there first, but you know to put the ball out for a throw in to United. And look at the difference. There was no delay in taking the throw in. They want to keep the pressure up, Manchester United. Here's Herrera on to Mata, and Mata onto his left foot, crosses into the penalty area. Williams heads it away momentarily. Back it goes to Mata. Mata chips it forward, and then Herrera's tackled, and it's out of play for a throw-in. It was McCarthy who made the challenge. Lindelof to take the throw-in, almost level with the edge of the penalty area. Throws it to Martial. Back to the fullback, and now Herrera. It's it back to Jones.
We spoke in the first half on about how laboured Manchester United were, and things were pedestrian and patient we tried to use. They've been anything but in this second half. They've come out that as soon as the ball goes for a throw-in, they're rushing to take the throw-in. They're moving for each other. Their movement for each other has been fantastic. And, you know, you wonder why it took a talk from Jose Mourinho at half-time, but to see this side of Manchester United. But, you know, this is how good they can be when they do it.
I know what's happened. You know the electricity that we lost in this commentary position? It was put onto a very long lead into the United dressing room, and someone plugged it into somewhere significant.
Well, Everton will be hoping to unplug it soon.
We're still on batteries up here. Manchester United fizzing in this second period, leading 1-0. Throw in to the visitors on this near side of the field. Well, there was a danger, the potential tonight that Manchester United, if they lost here, would lose third place to Liverpool, who won earlier at Burnley. But there's no sign of that happening now. Manchester United, so much the better team. Lennon doesn't get the throw-in he thought he should get.
And what they've done as well, I mean, Sam Allardyce tried to find an answer to the problems caused by Manchester United. He brought McCarthy on, and he's pushed Tom Davies up against Matic. He's put McCarthy against Herrera, and he's put Schneiderlin against Pogba. But what's happened now is Mata is just being very intelligent, just come and playing in the pockets behind the midfield. So Everton's midfield, who are man-to-man now, can't pick up Mata, and it's allowing United to have so much rotation in the middle of the field, and it's another problem that now Sam Allardyce has got to solve.
Here's Pogba heading the ball to Mata. Back it goes to Lingard, and now Rojo over the halfway line. But look how urgently Lingard came forward, took the ball off him again. So much more pace about Manchester United in the second half. Now it's to the left side. 1-2 play between Shaw and Lingard, and then Shaw, I think, felt his run forward was impeded, but no, the ball is just back with Pickford. And you think back to when Pickford made a couple of excellent saves as well in this second period. 1-0 Manchester United lead here at Old Trafford. The lines for 606 are open. To talk to Jason Mohammed and Mark Lawrenson, 08 085 909 693, and that's about 22 minutes away. 24 minutes gone in this second half here at Goodison Park. Now Vlasic to the right side. This is a rare excursion into the opposition half for Everton in this second period. Williams forward to Lennon, one of the second half substitutes made by Sam Allardyce, that included taking off Wayne Rooney. I'm sure Wayne finds that very hard to take. Now here's Holgate to the right of the United penalty, into the United penalty, onto his right foot. Can he get the cross in? No, he can't. It's blocked by Shaw, and rebounds to Lingard on the far side. Lingard forward to Pogba. Pogba just shrugs aside that physical challenge made on him, but no, it's won back by McCarthy. And McCarthy's effort gained applause from Evertonians. Now it's Holgate. Nias waits for the cross into Nias, heads it wide. Genuine chance for Everton.
And it's the first for a while, but it comes from a bit of pressure from Everton. They really put pressure on Pogba in the middle of the field. James McCarthy with a fantastic tackle. They get the ball wide, I think it was to Mason Holgate, and what they do different from they haven't done before is they get players into the box of Manchester United. United don't know who to pick up. As it comes, Nias gets the header. Could possibly do better, but it comes from Everton getting players and being brave enough to get players into United's box.
Less than 20 minutes to go here on 5 Live. Everton 0, Manchester United 1. But there was a response there from Everton. After all, the momentum in the second half had been with Manchester United. Now here's Lindelof. Here towards bringing the play for Everton's player. And you hear the response of the Evertonians inside Goodison Park. Doesn't take much to get them going. Can their players respond? Davis. Back to Nias. Nias, I thought he'd lost the ball. Almost won it back on the edge of the penalty area. Cleared though by Manchester United. Pogba over the halfway line. Mata was fouled. The advantage played by the referee. Mata sitting down inside the centre circle as Pogba played it in the direction of Martial. Intercepted by Everton, and back it goes to Pickford. Now out to Williams. Williams on, and it's knocked forward by Everton. And now dinked by Keane over the halfway line. Keane heading it upfield, but it finally finds a blue shirt. And now here's Vlasic. Vlasic into the penalty area. Sort of laboured, attempted cross too low. Cleared by Manchester United. Head back by Williams. Squirted clearance by Matic. Runs to Vlasic. Just to the right of the penalty. Dinked into the penalty area. Here's Holgate. Holgate pulls it back, and there's a chance for Davis. Blocked by the defender. This is far better from Everton. Some pressure. Another cross into the penalty area. De Gea catches.
Great pressure from Everton. It just comes very simply from Everton winning second balls. There was a long ball up from Michael Keane. Luke Shaw headed it down. Everton won the second ball. Another long ball up. Rocco headed it. James McCarthy won the second ball, and suddenly the crowd get on Everton's side. They're playing in Manchester United's half. The ball goes wide. They've got men in the box, and it just simply comes from winning second balls, and Everton needs to do a lot more of that from now until the end of the game.
Now Martial's gone down off the pitch on the far side of the field, right in front of the Manchester United fans. Play continues. There was no foul on the United player. It's aimed towards Lennon. Lindelof partially intercepted it. Lennon though brings it under control. Cuts in towards the penalty. Low cross, not a great one. Half cleared. Davis wins it back. Plays it to the left hand side. Martina. Davis once more. This is far, far better from Everton. Far, far better from both teams in the second half. And now there's an Everton corner. Martial is still down in the far side of the field. He's got to his feet now. And while Everton fans not persuaded that he was ever hurt in the first place.
Well, Juan Mata and Herrera are speaking to the referee about it, but Martial was off the field. The injury took him into the hoardings. He wasn't on the field. The referee's got no obligation to stop the game. As it is, he's back on the field, but some of the United players are very unhappy about that.
Well, I think United are going to make a change here. I think Rashford's coming on. He is coming on. There's the corner for Everton. Play goalwards. Goodness gracious, it just emerged a yard to the left of the post, and United need to clear this. No, Everton put pressure on. Good work by Keane. Keane to Vlasic, left side of the penalty area. Oh, Vlasic has lost the ball, and now United can counter-attack. This game has been transformed in the second half. It was utterly turgid in the first 45 minutes. Not so since the interval. Here's Mata. Mata back to Herrera. Herrera infield. Lindelof after a lot. Wasn't equal to McCarthy's challenge. McCarthy certainly brought a physical presence to that Everton midfield. Oh, there's a foul surely by Mata on Lennon. There's a goal at Aston Villa. John Akers.
4 for Aston Villa. Bjarnason off the bench with his first goal in the league for the club. Bristol City shell-shocked in third coming into this, and Villa up to fifth, rampant 4-0.
Thank you. Well, the referee Andre Mariner getting fearful abuse that he didn't yellow card Juan Mata. It looked like an obvious booking to me, but no, didn't happen anyway. It's an Everton free kick, which Martina will take. Rashford still waits to come on. Martina, right-footed, high. Keane is up there. Pogba's higher, heading it away. Won by Schneiderlin to the far side. On by Holgate. Davis inside the penalty. Tried to spin around the United defender. Went down. No penalty kick. And it's going to be cleared by Manchester United. Pogba still inside his own half. Tackled and lost the ball to Keane.
It's incredible to see, though. I mean, Everton, who couldn't get near Manchester United for 70 minutes in this game, suddenly James McCarthy's made 1 or 2 tackles, crunching tackles in the middle of the field, and I don't think Everton have lost a second ball since, and now it's Manchester United who are struggling to get a foothold in this game again.
Here's McCarthy once more, playing the ball to the right side to Holgate. Holgate thought about crossing early, didn't. Plays it forward to Vlasic in the penalty area. In it goes to Nias. Nias back, and Holgate's there once more. Lots of red shirts in defensive positions now. Holgate slips as he attempted the cross. United eventually get it clear properly to Lingard. And you can probably tell from the intensity of the commentary that the game is transformed. Here's Rashford coming on. Who's he going to replace? It is Martial.
Yeah, the game has been completely transformed. We're talking about a game that was slow in the first half, that there wasn't much action. Now, there's so much going on. I don't think we can explain it all. It's been fantastic to see the second half, and it's more like what we expect to see at a Premier League game.
Well, I'm looking for Martial. Where is he? He's the player being replaced. Well, he's coming off very, very slowly. I think credit must be given to Mourinho. Whatever he said to his players at half-time transformed the way they were playing.
Absolutely. I mean, he sent his team out with a real drive. They came out like a rocket from a rocket place and really went at Everton, and it was fantastic to see. It's been great to watch the way they've moved the ball, the sharpness in the passing, the way they've made runs in behind. But again, on the flip side of that, I think you've got to give credit to Sam Allardyce. He made his substitutions. They took 5 or 10 minutes to kick in, but James McCarthy has changed his games with some of his tackles, and he's got Everton on the front foot, winning second balls, and Everton look a different team now.
Yeah, and thinking beyond tonight, thinking ahead to Friday evening at Anfield for the FA Cup third round tie, Liverpool against Everton. I mean, McCarthy's impact in the second half is making me think he could have a starting role at Anfield.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to just put a bit of cotton wool on James McCarthy at the moment. He's been out for such a long time. When he comes back fit, he plays a game or two and then finds himself out injured. But this is what you can get from James McCarthy when he's in the team. A real front foot attitude.
Here's Pogba forward into the penalty. Plays it back. Shot driven in. Great save by Pickford. What a save from Pickford.
What a fantastic save. Pogba and Lingard, again, the men making things happen. Pogba inside the box, step over, drawing defenders in, lays it onto the edge of the area for Lingard running onto. He strikes a wonderful shot low into the bottom corner. Pickford, a full stretch, just manages to tip it round the goal. But fantastic all round from United and from Pickford.
Pickford keeps Everton in the game tonight. Second goal for United now would be critical. Out from the corner, Mata's corner. It's headed away by Everton. On the far side, Holgate. And Holgate drives it upfield towards Lennon. Knocked back by Manchester United. Pogba's there. Well, that ball bounced up, hit Holgate's hand, and there were great appeals from the United fans and from Paul Pogba to the referee, and he responded. I don't know how the Evertonian could avoid that.
Well, it's one of these debatable ones we've been talking about in the last couple of days. It was really close to him. I'd be very interested if that was in the penalty area of Everton, whether Andre Marino would have given the same decision. But as it is, United get a free kick.
Well, a couple of stinkers of decisions. I thought the one at West Brom for the penalty was a shocker. The referee should be thinking about that decision that he made. Anyway, he gave what he thought. Free kick taken by United. Ball played into Pogba, into the penalty, into Lingard again. Shot this time hits a defender. Partially cleared. The referee plays the advantage. Goodness gracious, a scramble just outside the penalty area. Shot driven in by Rashford. Cleared by Everton. I thought Andre Marino was getting too closely involved in the game again. I was waiting for another tackle on the referee.
Yeah, he was close to it. But again, Pogba and Lingard causing problems for Everton tonight. One to the other. Constantly trying to pick each other out, finding each other in spaces. One of them managing to get a shot away. In this case, again, it was Lingard. And they're looking threatening again, Manchester United.
United come forward. Lingard shoot. Fantastic goal. Absolutely fantastic from Lingard. That was whipped in viciously. Pickford was diving the right way, got nowhere near it in the end, and the points are secure. Everton 0, Manchester United 2. Lingard with an outstanding goal.
Well, as I've been saying for most of the second half, Pogba, Lingard matching up again. Lingard running at the Everton back line, managing to wriggle in between, pulling Michael Keane apart and just lifting a shot over Pickford into the top corner. The goalkeeper couldn't do a thing about it. He's made some fantastic saves as Jordan Pickford, but there was nothing he could do to keep that out. And I've got to say, Jesse Lingard deserves it for his performance this afternoon. He's been nothing short of fantastic, and Manchester United is feeling the benefit of that.
United totally transformed since half-time, and this is a very, very good win now. Another change made by Sam Allardyce, which he'd planned before the second United goal. Calvert-Lewin coming on for Niasse. Too late now, inside the last 9 minutes.
What else was great to see from a Manchester United point of view is, when that goal went in, all 11 Manchester United players jumped into the air. Pogba ran to the corner flag and to the bench. The rest of them all ran over to Lingard. Pogba eventually joined. It meant an awful lot to them to get that second goal, especially the way Everton have fought back in this last 15 minutes, and this just shows it's a massive 3 points for United here today.
Yeah, what I saw on Saturday in the Southampton game at Old Trafford, and then the first half tonight, I'm thinking, United have really lost their way here. But no, this is much more of a threatening Manchester United. They're going to win here tonight on Merseyside and move 3 points clear of Liverpool again. And I think they temporarily overtake Chelsea into second place once more. Everton free kick. Martina plays it towards the edge of the United penalty area. Williams challenges not once, twice, but 3 times, loses out. And United counter-attack again. And a couple of challenges went in there. There's a foul by Holgate. Holgate's going to be booked. He's been called back. Too many United players are going. What is Pogba doing with Holgate? What is he doing? He's got his hand in his face. That's ridiculous.
Well, I think he's going to receive a yellow card himself. The referee straight over to Holgate, knew it was a yellow card. Holgate brought Lingard down to stop the counter-attack. Lingard's been such a danger for Everton. They had to bring him down. But Pogba's got himself involved in the situation. Idiotic. He's got himself involved in. I think he feels that the tackle on Lingard was a little bit too dangerous. He wasn't happy with it. But instead of letting the referee deal with the situation, he's got involved. He's manhandling Mason Holgate as the referee's tried to book him, and you can't get away from that.
That's utterly ridiculous. He hasn't been booked.
Well,
unless that yellow card has been flashed and I didn't see it. The referee has not booked Pogba.
Well, that's ridiculous. To manhandle a player like he just did in front of the referee, the referee had to get in between them both, which shows you the type of reaction that it came. Now Pogba and Williams are having a talk about it. Pogba's found himself over near Holgate again, and I think the referee probably, if he didn't book him, certainly needed to.
I don't think he did, and it was quite right to book Holgate for the challenge on Lingard. But the way Pogba reacted, he had his hand in his face.
Well, the referee is out there to keep control of the game. It's up to the referee to deal with that situation. Yes, Pogba can defend his player, can go over and let people know, that's not right. But that's not the way to do it. You need to let the referee deal with it in that situation. And to manhandle someone in front of the referee like he did and not get booked is quite incredible.
I was of half a mind thinking, well, he's put his hand in the face of an opposing player. This could be a red card. But there's Pogba on the far side of the field. Needs to learn to control his temper despite his talent. 6:06 is about 9 minutes away. Given some added time here. 08 085 909 693 to talk to Mark Lawrence and Jason Mohammed. And at halftime, I don't think many people would have been talking about this game, but maybe so with what's happened in the second half. Manchester United have played really well. Martial with the first goal, and the second goal scored. Who did the second goal? How can I forget Lingard's goal? Brilliant shot.
Well, Jesse Lingard's one of those players that's in and around the England squad. We're coming up to a World Cup year. He's in the team, he's out the team, but on today's performance, he's certainly got to be in that World Cup squad. He's been fantastic. He's going all over the field to receive the ball. He's dribbling at the Everton back line. He's making cute little passes. He's being a real thorn, picking the ball up in real pockets, and that's the type of player that, as England, we're calling out for at the minute. Players that can play on the half turn, and he's been fantastic at it this afternoon.
5 minutes to go here at Goodison Park. Many Evertonians have left their seats. There was that revival when they might have conjured up an equaliser, but the second goal by Lingard has certainly killed them off. Here's Shaw coming forward. Shaw to the goal scorer on the far side. Lingard, on it goes. Rashford trying to dink the ball in towards Lingard again. Cleared by Everton up to the halfway line. Calvert-Lewin won the ball in the air, but his header went straight to those in red. It's with Jones. And on the near side, and Daley Blind will come on. He's a very good player. He can't get a starting place in this United 11. There is talent, despite the fact that, of course, he hasn't spent enough money. Mourinho, it's only 300 million, but he's got really good players available. And it's Lingard who's coming off to be replaced by Blind. Well, rich applause from the Manchester United fans for Jesse Lingard. Not just his goal, his overall performance.
Yeah, he's been probably the best player on the field today. Pogba run him close, but Lingard's been fantastic. Topped it off with his goal, and he deserves the opportunity to walk off the field to a round of applause from their Manchester United fans.
Yet another goal at Villa Park for John Akers.
What a way to start 2018 for Aston Villa. It's 5. Aston Villa 5, Bristol City 0. They've been rampant. Conor Hourihane this time, right-footed, 15 yards, and they might not be finished there. 5 minutes plus stoppage time, 5-0 Villa.
Thanks very much, John. 2-0 Manchester United lead here at Goodison Park. And it's with Lindelof at right back. Lindelof turns away from Lennon, feeds it back to De Gea. And De Gea, first time clearance, up and beyond Rashford, headed back by Williams. Schneiderlin, the former United player, brings it down. He's been pulled back by Matic, and Andre Mariner reaction towards a free kick. But ironic boos stroke cheers for the referee. But there have been some odd decisions made by Andre Mariner, not to book Mata and then to let Pogba away. Here's the free kick, hit right footed by McCarthy into the United penalty area, and now it's hooked deep towards Williams. Williams will struggle to keep that in play. He can't. He has to jump over a steward. Just retained his footing, thank goodness. And it's a goal kick for Manchester United. 2 minutes to go, plus added time.
Well, there'll be a lot of talk about Everton's performance today. They didn't really get out of the blocks. Manchester United have dominated this game, especially in the second half. But, Sam Allardyce has been criticised for defending and getting a 0-0 against Chelsea and getting a 0-0 against West Brom. But sometimes when you come out, like Everton had a go today and they've lost the game 2-0, and sometimes when you come out, you open yourself up to concede goals, and that'll be something that Sam Allardyce may want to think again about going into the next game.
Yeah, particularly in that it's against Liverpool at Anfield.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, so you can hear full commentary on that FA Cup tie on Friday evening. I'll be doing the commentary. I think that's with Robbie Savage. I'm sure Robbie Savage will be entirely neutral, which you would have been anyway, Leon. Here's Pogba forward for Manchester United.
You don't want me helping you commentate on that game, Alan.
It's unfair, and if he slipped there and the ball's gone behind. Pogba has also been outstanding in the second half.
Yeah, he has. I mentioned before how I felt he run Jesse Lingard close for man of the match. The goal made me want to choose Lingard over Pogba, but Pogba's been nothing short of great as well. He's looked like the 95 million pound player that he was bought for today. His physicality's been there clear for everyone to see. He's pushed people off the ball, he's ran forward with it, he's done step overs in the box, and the Everton players haven't been able to get close to him today, and he's been a fantastic performer for Manchester United.
Everton 0, Manchester United 2. We are approaching the 45-minute mark in the second half. Here's the fourth official to come out to tell us how much time will be added on. Maybe 3 minutes. We'll see. Another Manchester United substitute is ready with 3 minutes of added time. Everton on the attack. Holgate shoots the ball into the penalty area, headed away, and it's curling behind for a corner. Corner to Everton. Kwanzivi will be on shortly for Manchester United. Meantime, corner kick for Everton. They put most players forward into the penalty area, Gladys Street end, and then I think that was a sort of skimming header back by Schneiderlin, and it's a goal kick to Manchester United. Maybe even a free kick has been awarded. We'll see. All the key action was behind a pillar. I'll make it up as I go along. Oh, electricity has been restored in this area of Goodison Park. So the plug has obviously now been pulled out of.
Well, I've noticed it in Manchester United's performance this last 5 minutes.
It was pushed into for United. Mata's coming off. Mata, whose sparkle in the early minutes of the second half indicated that it was a completely different Manchester United. 2 stinging shots toward Pickford. Well, another good game for him. And he's coming off, and he's not rushing off. And we'll only have about 90 seconds or most 2 minutes of added time remaining after this. The number for 606 08085 909 693. Jason and Mark await your calls. They're probably lined up now. So here's the goal kick finally to be taken by David De Gea. And De Gea, right-footed, driven towards the far side of the field where it skims off an Evertonian head. I think it was Holgate, and it's out of play for a throw into Manchester United. A lot of empty seats around Goodison Park now. Manchester United fans staying on, of course, as they're required to do, but they're enjoying every minute of the second half. They see a completely different team to the one that they almost jeered off at Old Trafford on Saturday.
Yeah, well, you know, they will have to stay around for the opposing away fans issue.
Yep.
But they would stay behind anyway to clap their team off the field. I'm sure that the team will go over and accept the applause. They deserve it today. They've been fantastic in this second half, really looking like the team we all expect Manchester United to be.
The urgent, inventive Manchester United, as opposed to the tepid side I saw against Southampton for 90 minutes, and then the first 45 minutes here tonight at Goodison Park. We're almost sorry, Leon, go ahead.
It's been incredible to see that the turnaround in the half. It's the same players that performed against Southampton and it was against Southampton and here today, and you know, then to see the second half, how them players turned around all of a sudden has been incredible, and they've been fantastic in the second half.
Rojo clears. Pogba almost picks it up, but no, he's beaten in the challenge, and Williams chips it towards the left side. But Goodison Park's earthly quiet now, and it's going to be quieter still after the referee has blown his final whistle. In fact, the boos come in from the Evertonian fans. Well, what are your final thoughts, Leon?
Well, as we were just saying, in what was a largely uneventful first half from both teams, Everton showing a little bit of desire to come out and try and attack, and then second half started, we lost a bit of power, and Manchester United got it all. Their attack in the second half was fantastic. The performances from Lingard especially and Pogba will be talked about. And Manchester United justifiably won the game. They were fantastic, and barring a couple of magnificent saves from Pickford, it could have been more goals.
And before we are picked up by Jason and Mark Lawrenson, a quick update from John Akers at Villa.
Still Aston Villa 5, Bristol City 0. Villa up to 5th with this result. Bristol City will drop to 4th on goal difference. They've been absolutely unstoppable. Hogan got them underway with his first goal of the season for the club. And then it was a procession after that. Snodgrass, who was brilliant, made it 2-0 in the first half, then 3-0 in the second. Bjarnason with his first league goal for the club for 4-0. And Conor Hourihane a few moments ago making it 5. A really poor afternoon for Bristol City. Maybe one game too many for them. Aston Villa 5, Bristol City 0.
And remember, Manchester